Chicago. Cubs trailing the Brewers 8-7. It's the Royals over the Rangers 4-1. They're headed to the top of the seventh in Toronto, where the Diamondbacks are up 9-1 on the Jays. Bottom of the third in San Francisco, Guardians up 1-0 on the Giants. Meanwhile, a couple of finals from earlier today. Twins hammer the Reds 12-5. It was the Yankees over the Angels 7-3. Nationals take out the Rockies 4-3 in 11 innings. Tigers over the Pirates 9-2, and the Rangers fall to the Royals 4-1.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Thursday to everybody on another beautiful day outside. Mariners with the day off today, traveling to Chicago, so you'll hear that game tomorrow. What is it, 11:40, 11:20?
11:20.
11:20. Wow, odd time. So, yeah.
Very odd.
Yeah, and all three games are at that time in Chicago.
What's going on in Chicago? You live there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it's just a typical day game for there. They're 2 hours ahead.
I'm
so
just gonna
1:20.
Just gonna blame you for the goofy time.
I just haven't communicated with them the way I should. So yeah, you'll hear that game tomorrow morning, 11:20, first pitch, and hopefully
You gonna be up for first pitch?
Yeah, I got an appointment in the morning, so I will. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. The Cubs are a good team. And they score a lot of runs. So we'll see what happens in that one. Coming up today, we'll talk some baseball with Russell Dorsey, National MLB Insider for Yahoo Sports. He'll join us at 2:30. Our conversation with Logan Gilbert, we had this yesterday, but as we've come to learn, when the Mariners lose, audience tends to shrivel after the postgame show. So there are probably a lot of people that said, yeah, they lost the series, they lost this game. I don't want to hear anything about anything. I'm going to go enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
So we'll play that conversation for people today that missed our conversation with Logan Gilbert, who's always great.
Yeah. And then you got Cal Raleigh at 5 o'clock, and those are our two favorite players. Those are our go-to guys right there.
Yeah. They really are.
But, you mentioned after the games, that's when we get like the diehards that hang on and text in to the game. And they're mad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lots of anger. Lots of everybody stinks. Trade them all. Fire them all. Everybody's awful. So I can relate to the anger and the frustration, but they take it a few extra steps.
Yeah, don't take it out on us.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't do anything. We're just like you watching the game.
I read you that text the other day. Somebody was blaming us, the station. What was it? Oh, it was about Julio. Something about us.
We're dogging him?
No. Well, we got that. For calling him a superstar too early, so we're part of the problem or something like that. Why he's struggling? It's like, all right, you guys are giving us a lot of credit for power we don't really have, but okay. But yeah, it was a rough series, man. It was rough. The offense went to sleep in 2 of the 3 games. You put up 1 run. It's bad.
Well, then Mike was talking about. I mean, we allowed 5 runs.
Yeah.
And you lose a 3-game series. It's brutal.
5 total runs in 3 games, and you drop 2 of 3.
The other thing is, thinking that maybe that team was going to be kind of a mess. I mean, they're a very young team, and they don't, they trade away Devers on the eve of, coming here to Seattle. He misses out on the ice cream. And, yeah, I mean, you thought, hey, this is going to be a team that maybe is reeling a little bit, and no. Not the case.
They seem to be just fine.
Yeah, they do.
They seem to be just fine. So, and we'll ask the question. We asked this yesterday, but want to get fresh ears on it and see what our expert listeners think. The baseball minds out there that will often tell us we don't know anything. They know much, much more. What's the biggest reason, in your opinion, that the Mariners' offense is the way it is, and that's remarkably inconsistent? Why is it that way? It's never just one thing, but get the biggest reason in your mind. Is it, A, just flat out not enough talent? Hitters aren't good enough? Is it injuries? Is it poor coaching? Is it something else that we may not have mentioned? What's the biggest reason? Because I think could be all of those.
Yeah.
Injuries certainly play a part. Some guys just frankly aren't that great. Maybe the message, even though we all love Edgar and Seitzer and everything, maybe it's very realistic. Their message doesn't get through to some hitters the way it does with others, and the same was true with Brant Brown and Jarrett DeHart. The message isn't universal. There's often guys that's like, it doesn't click with me.
Well, I'm kind of like the Washington Nationals manager. Like, it's not the coaches. It's not the coaches at all. I mean, I tend to be more that way just because, we've heard that the message has been simplified. And that was the problem with Brant Brown, supposedly, and that, there was too much information. Guys are going up there with all these different ideas and thoughts, and, it seemed like it was simplified. And, these guys are all big league hitters, and, I think they're, that just made sense to me as an athlete, not as a baseball player for sure, that, you got too many things going on in your head, and they simplified that. So I don't know. I mean, the other thing about that is that, like, the hitters all really respect Edgar, because he's played. It's kind of the same thing with Dan Wilson as well, but that they respect him. So I don't know. To me, I guess I would put poor coaching at the very bottom of the list. And then I think for other players, some of them, like Jorge Polanco, I feel like it could be the injury thing. I mean, he's been kind of banged up and he wouldn't hit. Was it the right side?
Right side, yeah.
Where, he couldn't hit from the right side because of injuries and things like that. He had the knee problem. And I just wonder if, like, at the end of the year, he's going to have surgery or something, and it was that for him. But I don't know, man. The worst part, is thinking this, and I do kind of think this, that maybe not enough good hitters.
I don't think that's a hot take.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think you're going out on a limb with that one.
Well, I like to think that we have the guys in the building, and yeah, I don't know. To me, I mean, you look at some of these other teams, like the Rays yesterday. They give up like an 8-run lead to the Orioles, and then they come back. I think they scored 12, and I mean, it was just like everybody was getting a hit, and we just have not seen a game like that from the Mariners. So it just makes me, not just because of that, but just because you look around the league and see, what other players are doing, and yeah, I do kind of feel like they need some more solid, reliable hitters.
Dan Wilson, after the game, talking about just giving his overall thoughts on the homestand and how they move on from that series loss to the Red Sox.
It's a tough one today, but you look at the homestand overall, 4-2. You feel pretty good about that, and we head to the road now, off day tomorrow, and then take to the road. So we'll just continue to take this and take some confidence from this one and move forward onto the road.
4-2 is good. I mean, you go into homestand saying, would you be happy with 4 of 6? You're like, yeah. What makes it feel bad, is that you swept the Guardians. You won 3 in a row, which means you dropped 2 of the next 3. And in those 2 games, as we talked about yesterday and today, they scored 1 run. Mm-hmm. You gave up 5 runs in the 3-game series, and you dropped 2 of those games. I mean, it speaks to the offensive futility in those games. And again, I go back to the Giolito game, just maddening. Yeah, Crochet, I get it. He's one of the elite arms in all of baseball. You knew going in that was going to be a tough matchup, and if you're going to get your wins, you're going to get them in those first 2 games. Meanwhile, Giolito goes out there and pitches like he's Crochet and just dominates you. Mm-hmm. You strike out 15 times in that game.
Well, and the frustrating part of that was you go back a couple of games for him. Did he have 2/3 of an inning and gave up?
Yeah, he's every other start. He was horrible.
Yeah.
So he didn't follow that pattern, because his previous start coming into Seattle, he was good. And then in Seattle, he was great. And they just couldn't touch him. It was so inept. It was really awful to watch. So that and then we've chronicled what happened with the bases loaded, nobody out, and JP, Julio, Cal, whiff. They don't even put the ball in play between the 3 of the top of your order, arguably your 3 best hitters. Don't put the ball in play with the bases loaded. So yeah, it was really frustrating how they lost. Losing's one thing. How you lose adds to it, certainly. And we'll see. How close they can remain as we approach that trade deadline. Right now, you're 5.5 games back. 5.5 games back of the Astros, and you're a half game out behind Boston and Cleveland. They're tied for that third wild card spot, so you're a half game behind both of those teams. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting road trip, to say the very least. By the way, if you missed any part of the show, you just want to go check things out again, watch it over again, listen to it, you can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can search for Wyman and Bob, Bob Stelton, Seattle Sports, all social media platforms, whether it's X, whether it's Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, we're on all of those. So check it out. Meanwhile, it looks like Luke Raley is expected to be activated as soon as tomorrow, perhaps. We'll see officially. But he is expected to be back. But that creates a roster situation, Dave.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to go. And it seems like it's down to 3 people. It's going to be Dom Canzone, your guy Donnie Barrels, or Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah.
Who goes? Only one has options. Canzone has options. You could send him down to AAA. The other 2 do not. So if you release them, you're on the hook for their money, which is not big money in baseball dollars. But to this franchise, perhaps that could be a deciding factor.
Yeah, Daniel Kramer wrote a great article about that, just kind of making the case for all 3 of those players you just mentioned. And I don't know. To me, I guess my instincts tell me the Donnie Barrels experiment may be done. The one thing about him, though, that you hear is that they love him in the clubhouse and that he's a great guy to have. You know, he's one of the older players, and you know, I don't know. Every once in a while, I watch Rowdy Tellez, and I think, man, he's a better athlete than I think. There was the one time I think they were in Minnesota. I think it was Toronto, where it was like he just kind of, like they said, he dove for the ball. I'm like, no, he just fell down.
Yeah.
And, you know,
he leaned that way.
Yeah, and he makes some good picks, definitely, over there. And then every once in a while, I think he's 3rd on the team in slugging percentage. So, I don't know. Yeah, to me, probably Donnie Barrels. What do you think of those 3?
Yeah, I don't. Only because I'm leaning toward Canzone, because it just becomes a bit redundant if you have Raleigh back. Or Raley, excuse me, because he's a left-handed bat. Dom's a left-handed bat. He can play right field. That's where Dom plays. He can play first base. Canzone does not. Canzone's got options. So maybe they go that route. They're still on the hook, according to Daniel Kramer's article. $3.5 million. They're paying Solano for this season, which, again, baseball dollars, that's nothing, but maybe that is a determining factor for them. Tellez, they owe $1.5 million for this year. Again, great money for us. For them, that's a pittance. So is that going to be a deciding factor? I mean, he's one of your producers. You don't have a ton of guys on this team that are hitting home runs and driving in runs. He's tied for 2nd with 11 home runs on this team. So maybe you've got a little versatility with Luke Raley. Like I said, outfield, first base. I think you know, he's not a better first baseman than Tellez. Tellez is a better first baseman than Raley, and Solano for that matter. I'm leaning toward Canzone only because they owe the other 2 guys money if they release them, and you've got an option. You can option them down.
Yeah, well, and then Luke Raley, I don't know, what do you expect from him? I mean, he didn't start off with a great, you know, amount of hitting. I mean, he was 206 when he got hurt, and you know, his OPS was like 669. But boy, you look at the way that he finished his year last year in September. 23 games, 284. He had 6 doubles, 6 home runs. He was slugging 608. 22 strikeouts, but a couple of stolen bases too. And that's the thing about him. He's all elbows and knees when he runs, but I think he's one of those guys that's just not a very smooth runner, but it's kind of deceptive because he's actually covering a lot of ground. So, yeah, I mean, that way, you know, you have him for first and out in right field. So I'm pretty excited about that, but Daniel Kramer had a tweet of him just crushing a home run off of a lefty. And, yeah, I don't think that ball has landed yet. It's just incredible. But, you know, we'll see with him. Maybe he's going to, you know, give you that extra pop. But, I don't know, first base is just, you know, seems like that's one of those positions you always talk about. You got to have some power there, and hopefully he can provide that like he did at the end of the year last year.
Yeah, hopefully he can bounce back because, as you we talked about. Before that injury, he was not hitting well. So we'll see what he does when he comes back. But they are most certainly he's going to be your guy there. So you got to make room for him on the roster. You guys can text in 866-979-3776. Luke Raley comes back. Who goes? The wild card, it could be Mastrobuoni. I don't think so, because he plays multiple positions where you look at, Tellez is your first baseman and that's it. And Canzone's pretty much your outfielder and that's it. Where Raley, he's right field. He can play first base. Yeah. Mastrobuoni is a guy that can play everywhere. So I would think they would hang on to him, but he's a potential when we're talking about somebody that they're going to have to remove from this roster. But if we're isolating those three, Donovan Solano, somebody asked, who's Donnie Barrels?
Yeah, come on.
That's Donnie. That's
get with it.
Donovan Solano's nickname on Baseball Reference.
Yeah,
they've got that on his page. But it's Solano, it's Canzone, or it's Tellez. And Daniel Kramer wrote an article about it, making the case for each and making the case as to why each could be moved on from. So I'm just going with the easy route, saying, all right, you're not going to owe any money. He's got options. Canzone, he's a lefty with some pop. You're bringing a lefty with some pop in, so maybe they feel like it becomes a bit redundant. But I don't know. I would think it would be him or Donnie Barrels.
Yeah.
I think they like Tellez, and I think he's produced enough to where they're like, we can't afford to take that potential pop out of the lineup, whereas, Donnie Barrels doesn't provide that. He's not a producer.
Yeah, no, he's not. But yeah, I mean, and most of the people are saying Solano, and I think that's probably the obvious choice, just because you look at what is his average last year was like 280 or something, and he is not anywhere near that. And I think a lot of people think that he's done, but also he's the most difficult one, right? And then the other thing is he's really good in the clubhouse, but a lot of people saying Donovan Solano.
Yeah, I mean, it's stat-wise, he's the obvious. He's hitting $198, 237 on base. He's got 1 home run, 5 runs driven in. He's got an OPS of 490. He's got a negative WAR. So if we're just going to strictly stats, yeah, he's the obvious one. But they signed him for $3.5 million. I don't know how much that comes into play. They did let Mitch Haniger go, and they owed him a ton of money. So maybe it's not a big deal. I don't know. But both he and Tellez have money attached to him that they're going to have to pay for not playing for this team, whereas Canzone is just being optioned back down to the minors.
Yeah. So Linda says, as if listening to your show once isn't painful enough. Thank you, Linda.
Really so she listened yesterday?
Yeah, how about that?
She was one of the hardcores that turned into tuned in after a Mariner loss. That's typically when people go, that's it, I'm out. I don't want to hear anything. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing, and overwhelmingly, it's, according to our texters, it's Donnie Barrels. It's Donovan Solano. And I think, that was because that when they made that move last year, everybody was pissed, right? This is your big move. And, and then management was kind of talking him up and, great clubhouse guy, look at his average, this and that. He's a great guy. Perry Hill loves him, defensively. But, yeah, that's pretty much where everybody's going. But, yeah, I mean, I would say Canzone's probably a close second for me, but probably the best move for the team.
Yeah. Some checking in, Solano doesn't play often enough to get into a groove. That's probably fair. I mean, but he's got to warrant those opportunities. He started out so poorly that you started looking at the lineups when his name was there going, why is he in there? Yeah. Why would you run him out there? Because it was brutal. 425 says, whomever goes, I hope they do it creatively. A human slingshot from the top of T-Mobile into Elliott Bay, or launched from a human cannonball cannon into Edgar's Cantina from home plate. I'm not mad at these guys. They're not trying to stink. They're not trying to, not produce. I don't want to shoot them from a cannon, but I appreciate the creativity. Let's take 2.
Well, the Cubs' 3-game win streak is over. They lost the finale to the Brewers today, 8-7. Just a measly 45-29 on the season.
Great. Now they're going to be pissed.
The Mariners will play tomorrow. And the Nationals, and this is surprising. They look so good when they beat the Mariners, but they had an 11-game losing streak. They avoided a 4-game sweep at the hands of the Rockies today. The James Wood walk-off homer in the 11th.
They needed an extra inning home run to avoid being swept by the Rockies.
In 4 games.
In 4-game sweep, no less. Thank you for that clarification there.
4 games.
4-game sweep. That's tough to do against anybody, but they play the Mariners and look like they just gave them hell.
Yeah,
right?
that's frustrating. Do you think that's going to be the series that we look back on? I mean, especially
it's one of them because you got your butt kicked in 2 of the games. You lost. All 3 games had 9 runs scored by one team. Mariners won the first game 9-1. They lost the next one 9-0. You got shut out, and then you lost in extra innings 9-3.
Right. Well, and James Wood did his damage here as well, but yeah, avoiding the sweep to the Rockies, that's discouraging. I think that's going to stick in our minds going forward, and hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us.
Well, some big news in the sports world yesterday. I didn't get to it because of the Mariners game, but the Lakers are being sold for $10 billion to Dodgers owner Mark Walter. It sets an interesting price point, certainly at the high end, for what an expansion fee could come in around at next month's NBA Board of Governors meeting that supposedly they're going to discuss the feasibility of discussing expansion, or whatever Adam Silver says along those lines. They're going to discuss expansion next month.
What was the team purchased for again?
$67 million.
Yeah.
In 1979. 67 point something.
That just seemed outrageous.
In 79, yeah. I mean, that's still a lot of money today, but yeah, turning 67 whatever into 10 billion. And this is a guy who owns the Dodgers. That's a rich individual. You own the Dodgers and you own the Lakers. My goodness. $10 billion.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, look, I guess we shouldn't be surprised. We're always like, we don't even blink an eye at about $40 million contracts in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then, the quarterback's 55, 60. I mean, part of it is just, inflation and everything. But, yeah, just the value of that franchise is, it's one of the more iconic brands in all of sports.
Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Coming up, we'll get the national perspective on the Mariners and some potential trade deadline additions from Russell Dorsey of Yahoo Sports. He's going to join us next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid for below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes.
Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com.
Muckleshoot.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
We at Three Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. Three Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here, and you can book now for an unforgettable summer experience opening this August. Wake up to breathtaking Cascade views with world-class dining and play your favorite games. Visit snocasino.com, Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We talk a lot of Mariners here, and we always look to go to the outside, get an outside perspective, because we're very close to the product here, and it's very easy to get wrapped up into the negativity of the way they lose to the Red Sox, scoring 1 run in 2 of the games they lost. So let's bring in those highs, Dave. Let's bring in a man who covers Major League Baseball for Yahoo Sports. Their national Major League Baseball insiders with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Russell Dorsey is here with us. How are you, man?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
We're trying to find answers around this Mariner team who at one point looked like, they stunned everybody with the offense. They won 9 series in a row. It was like nobody saw this coming, and that's with an injured rotation. And now the rotation's getting healthier, and the offense is becoming much less productive. So we're trying to figure out, is it lack of talent? Is it injuries? Is it coaching? I'm sure it might be a little bit of all three, but from the outside, what would you say is the biggest reason in your mind for the inconsistent nature of this Mariners offense?
Look, guys, I like you and everybody in Seattle was very surprised by the start the Mariners got off to offensively, right? Like, we know what they can do as far as their starting pitching. And because of injuries, you didn't see that as much as we've seen in years past. But I think the thing for me when I'm looking at the Seattle Mariners and specifically the offense is Cal Raleigh has been everything for this lineup and been one of the best players, I'd say a top 2-3 player in Major League Baseball this season. He's been fantastic. But I think one of the things you have to consider with an offense like the Mariners have, if you have a stretch where Cal Raleigh is not hitting everything in the world and doesn't have an OPS over 1,100 over the last month, then other guys in the lineup have to step up. And I think the thing with the Mariners, you look at the lineup, you look at the names, very little change from year to year. And I think one of the things, and you guys know this, like, offense has been the biggest struggle for this team over the last couple of years. You know, it's the reason, you know, you go through different hitting coaches and you go through a manager, and at some point you can't fire anybody else, and you got to look around the room and say, okay, it has to be the guys in this room that help this offense get where it needs to go.
Yeah, as far as that rotation goes, Russell, do you think, I mean, they're starting to come together, and then really, you know, you've gotten some good performances from Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans. So, I mean, it just seems like they're stacked. Is that enough? If these guys are getting back to, you know, where they've been, you know, where they were last year, as far as Wu and the entire rotation goes, is that enough? Or do you think this is absolutely an emergency here that they need to get some offense and a bat?
I mean, it's going to have to be enough, right? Like, it was always the strength of this team was that rotation. And I think when you are able to, you know, have confidence in your entire rotation, it's not just you're relying on one guy every fifth day to kind of be that win day for you. That's a good feeling to have. But, you know, you pitchers won't say this, but when you feel like you got to throw up zeros every time out, like, that could be mentally taxing on a starter individually, but as a rotation as a whole. And I think that's the one thing, you know, I'm going to be watching here with the Mariners is that rotation going to be able to continue to pick up the offense while they try to figure things out on that side of the baseball? Because we've seen them do it before. You just don't want to live in a world where you have to do that each and every season.
What do you think about the way the team has been put together? The pieces that we're working with here, you know, they don't go big in the offseason. We've all just sort of come to grips with the idea that this ownership group is just not going to spend a bunch of money, and you know, that's the one area that I will defend Jerry DiPoto, is he doesn't determine the salary, right? He gets his allowance, and here, go make it work, and that's how you end up with a 37-year-old Donovan Solano as a solution, and you get, you know, Polanco back, who was great the first month, absolutely atrocious in May, and kind of bouncing back this month, so we'll see. But you're not getting A-list guys. You're not getting what I would call difference makers. Is that just kind of going to be the problem moving forward, that you're going to keep going to these guys? You're going to go the Colton Wongs and A.J. Pollocks and try to find the bargain. Yeah. You're going to get middling results at best until you take that leap financially.
Yeah, and I think that's something we've unfortunately seen around Major League Baseball. Like, it's not just something that is, you know, only the Mariners that do things like that. I think one thing is you identify and have a player that you develop in Cal Raleigh that you say, you know what, this is one of the best players in the sport. We're going to lock him up long term. That's important. Mm-hmm. The other side of that is it's going to take more than Cal Raleigh for this team to get to October and to have success in October. And I think, to your point about the middle of the road, middling free agent, like, it's really difficult to win that way in Major League Baseball if you're not going to be able to have, you know, the player development. And for this group, I'll go to position players and have guys that really impact your big league club. They've been able to do it in their rotation, you know, and do it in the bullpen. But as far as position players, that's the area where I look at the Mariners and I say, okay, outside of Cal Raleigh, like, where have they been able to have big time success with their position players? And because I think a lot of that, you look at Julio Rodriguez, right? And I think Julio, after that rookie season, it was like, okay, this is the guy that is going to carry the Mariners to success. And Julio's had really good stretches, and, we've seen him have a top 5 finish in MVP voting, but then there have been these, okay stretches and okay seasons where it's like, yeah, it's fine. A 715 to 760 OPS is fine, but what you expected Julio Rodriguez to be was a 30-30 guy hitting in the middle of your lineup, impacting, winning outside of just the defense. And, last month or so, he swung the bat well. There hasn't been tons of power, so you're starting to see him be more consistent. But I think the level and expectations that we had for Julio, and I'll say this from a national landscape, he's been fine. But I think the Mariners were expecting a little bit more than fine.
Yeah, and how much, you look at Cal's numbers, and Russell, we did a little exercise where you take Cal's numbers out of this offense, where they rank.
Yeah.
It just, Julio, obviously, and then, do you think also Arozarena a little bit maybe needs to step up? He sort of seems like the next one in line of, where do we get the power numbers from?
Absolutely, right? That's why you go and acquire a guy like that over the last month and has an OPS below 700. And for a guy that was supposed to impact your offense, when you go out and get a guy like that in the trade from the Tampa Bay Rays, you're expecting more than a 681 OPS. And I think the name of the game for the Mariners offensively, it's always been consistency, right? It's really hard to win when you got to turn it on and, you get out to a nice lead, and then here come, once again, the Houston Astros that come chase you down. And after a while, that's daunting. And in a year, I think the one saving grace that they have, the American League is just not strong this year. And so it's not over. There's plenty of season left, but it's going to be very hard for the Seattle Mariners to make it to the postseason if you don't start to see improvements internally from their offense, because you can't expect the big time move of where they're going to go get this guy or they're going to go acquire this player to save this offense. It's going to have to come from within first.
Looking at what may be available to them. Hey, if you are in charge, Russell, you're looking at this team right now. Let's just pretend this is where they're at when we get toward the trade deadline. They're 5.5 back of the Astros. They're a half game out of that third wild card spot behind both Cleveland and the Boston Red Sox. So you got a couple teams in front of you there. So you're certainly within striking distance. You're not in a great position. Do you go out? Are you a buyer? And if you are, who's a realistic acquisition considering the potential tight purse strings of this ownership group?
Yeah, I look at, you're going to have to be really strategic. And I look at it and I say, what is a big area need for this team? And if I look at first base, and that's been an area of need for a while for the Mariners, and I look at a guy in Ryan O'Hearn, going to be a free agent at the end of the season. I know everybody likes the long-term fix, but if we're going to just look for 2025, Ryan O'Hearn been one of the best left-handed bats in all of Major League Baseball, gets on base at a high clip, which is really important. That's a guy that you could plug in to the middle of your order tomorrow, and you will have improved just in terms of not only the power, but a guy that can get on base at a really high clip. And because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the season, won't cost you as much as some other guys that play first base that might be on the market. And I think that just kind of changes your profile, right? You need guys who are going to get on base, right? We've seen with Mariners lineups in the past, a lot of swing and miss. And so to have a guy that is going to be able to work counts, working at bat and get himself and the rest of the lineup to see more pitches, I think that's, really advantageous. So Ryan O'Hearn is a guy that I look at and I say, okay, this could work. Another guy in that vein, Josh Naylor from the Arizona Diamondbacks, also going to be a free agent at the end of the year. I think the rental route is where the Mariners are going to have to look, especially if they aren't going to, break up the core that they have in that rotation. You're going to have to be really strategic and looking at what your needs are and what's available to you on the market.
Russell Dorsey, National MLB Insider for Yahoo Sports. You also see him on MLB Network and Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV+. Russell, great stuff, man. Really appreciate you taking a few minutes with us, and hopefully we get a chance to talk to you again.
Thanks, guys. Talk soon.
There you go. Again, Russell Dorsey, national writer for Insider for Yahoo Sports. If you didn't catch all of that, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, we truly can't believe this player is making front page news again. Tell you what that's about. Coming up next with Wyman and Bob, this is Seattle Sports on 710.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's something completely overblown at OTAs?
Interceptions. So when an interception is thrown, all people see is the end result. I don't think they realize that could have been a free play. He's tossing it up, or he's told just to throw the football so the defense gets a look. Kobe Bryant was over the top. Boom, he gets an interception. It can be deceiving at times.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. an equal housing opportunity builder.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me.
Our strategy with pricing is not to be the highest price and not to be the lowest price, but to be a really good price and to provide a really good experience to the customer.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff. It was just really sweet. It felt like we were truly helping.
Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or a service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
You hear it from one person, and then another, and another. You come to realize it's not a script, it's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks once again to Russell Dorsey, National MLB Insider for Yahoo Sports, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you're just tuning in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture, click on that, and you'll find it waiting for you right there. And don't forget, you can click subscribe, totally free, and never have to worry about it again. Just shows up for you. It's a beautiful thing. Meanwhile, taking a look at some things happening around the NFL. This is a story I was reading to you, Dave, that it's not the worst thing in the world. Not trying to paint this guy as, what a criminal, what a deviant individual, but just sort of brain dead, I guess. Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders has an immense spotlight on him for a lot of reasons, because of his last name, who his dad is, remarks his dad has made, all of the reviews of his interviews throughout the pre-draft process were less than glowing. Just a lot of negative around him. Then he ultimately drops from a first-round prospect to the 5th round. Mm-hmm. So he goes to Cleveland, and he gets pulled over for doing 101 miles per hour, which, again, I'm not – okay, I speed all the time. People speed. Now he's really speeding. But turns out it was the second time within a month he's been pulled over for speeding. And you know it's going to make headlines. You know it's going to be in the news. You're that lightning rod. How hard is it just to put your nose to the grindstone and say, you know what, you're not going to hear a peep out of me. I'm going to prove everybody wrong that said I'm not good enough to be drafted in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. I'm going to show everybody what a mistake they made by passing on me. I am going to work my tail off, and the only time you're going to hear about me is when I'm shining on the field. How hard is that for him not to understand the negativity that already surrounds him? He's just given ammunition. I don't understand. I just scratch my head. I read this and go, yeah, he didn't kill anybody. I'm not saying he's a horrible person. What a terrible guy. It's sort of like, are you lacking self-awareness? What's not clicking here?
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised just because I feel like his dad knows what the gig is, right? And so, I don't know, maybe he's not listening to his dad. You kind of need to be perfect based on some of the things that you've heard about him, and the controversy of dropping from the 1st to the 5th and all that. There's already a bunch of people that are just waiting for you to screw up.
Yeah.
So
you're just giving him ammunition.
Right.
And it's the second time you've done it within the month.
Yeah. And like you said, it's not like he was drunk driving or anything like that. But still, I just think you really need to. The other thing I think about is the veterans on the team that, when this guy's coming in, they don't give a crap that you're Deion Sanders' son. Mm-hmm. You're just another player. So, I mean, is that indicative of the kind of behavior that you're going to get from him, as a teammate? So, yeah, that was very unimpressive. I was kind of bummed because, you watch, I like Deion. And, you know, and I like some of the things I think that he says maybe get misunderstood and things like that. But, yeah, to me, you have to be like just an exemplary citizen, I think, for the situation that you've kind of created. I mean, they talked about him retiring his jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and
that's not his fault. I won't blame him for that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that the vets don't care.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, you know, hey, who is this guy? I mean, this is ridiculous. So I don't know. You know, how is he going to fit in on this team? And you know, it's almost like I feel like he should get up and apologize in front of the team or something. But it's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, he just has to be, especially the whole thing about not taking the interviews seriously. That's where a lot of times I think people will go, "Do you really love this game?"
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, it's just, again, not trying to prop it up as some huge screw up. It's more like, what's wrong with you, man? Why would you invite this attention? You've already got enough to contend with. You've already, you know, got a lot you need to overcome in the way of perception, and it's the second time it's happened within the month. Apparently, he got stopped on June 5th for doing 91 miles an hour. This time was 101 miles an hour at 12:30 in the morning. It's like, dude, help me help you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'd be saying if I were his agent. Like, what are you doing? Just work. Just grind, man. Just prove everybody wrong. But all right, we'll see what goes on with him. Meanwhile, Giants tackle Evan Neal, who was the 7th overall pick, top 10 pick, 7th overall in 2022. He's struggled big time in his first 2 seasons. They're moving him to guard. They're moving him to guard. So, you know, taking Charles Cross 2 picks later, and he's been pretty rock solid. He's not Walter Jones, but he's been good.
Yeah,
Charles Cross has been a good pick, solid.
Yeah, he really has. And Mike asked the question, you know, is this the best first rounder under Schneider? No, I don't think that, because you know you've got Earl Thomas. You know,
Russell Okung that year.
Russell Okung, but then
you got Devin
Witherspoon. Man, I mean, Spoon he's special. You know, it's funny. You look at his numbers; they don't blow you away as far as last year goes. But the things that he does on the field and what he allows you to do, I think he is probably going to be. Now, look, you got to get to the point where Earl Thomas is. I mean, he was a really special player. And by the way, there was a lot of times where I think it was like 4 or 5 times that they didn't have a first-round pick. But, yeah, I hope that Cross is going to be that guy that we're talking about. But, you know, you got JSN, too, as well. I mean, I think he could end up being, you know, maybe one of the best first-rounders of all time. But you hope it's Cross, right?
Well, yeah, he plays such a crucial position.
Yeah.
I mean, you're protecting the biggest investment on your team, your quarterback, and their blind side. So, yeah, you need somebody who's, I mean, it'd be great, again, to find a Walter Jones. Those guys are rare, obviously. So I think Cross has been good. He's not flawless. He's made mistakes, but he's been the most consistent, solid performer on that line that's had a lot of issues and a lot of turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, yeah, it's a, you know, to see the guy who's 2 picks ahead of him struggle as much as he has, and they're saying, all right, well, let's shift him to guard now.
Yeah.
See if we can make that work. That's
right.
So good on John and good on Charles there. Meanwhile, Logan Gilbert gained an interesting perspective about one aspect of his rehab process. You're going to hear about that in our conversation we had with him. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty here. It's time to turn things up a notch. This summer, don't binge watch shows. Binge s'mores by the campfire. Press pause on the podcast and press play on Warm Weather Vibes. Here's your chance to win $10,000 for your ultimate summer. What are you waiting for? Take a shot with 5-Hour Energy and make this summer your best summer ever. Visit 5HEshot.com for full details and rules to enter today. No purchase necessary. Ends June 30th, 2025.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
4th of July savings are here at the Home Depot, so it's time to get your grilling on. Pick up the Traeger Pro Series 22-pellet grill and smoker, now on special buy for $389, was $549. Smoke a rack of ribs or bake an apple pie, this grill is versatile enough to do it all. This summer, no matter how you like your steaks, your barbecues are guaranteed to be well done. Celebrate 4th of July with fast, free delivery on select grills right now at the Home Depot. Subject to availability.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,500 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners with a day off today after dropping the finale to the Boston Red Sox and losing that series 2-1. They head to Chicago to take on the Cubs beginning tomorrow. You'll catch all the action of that one right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, games going on right now. Bottom of the 7th in San Francisco. Guardians shutting out the Giants 1-0. Bottom of the 1st in Chicago. Game 2 of the doubleheader makeup from the rain-delayed game. No score between the White Sox and Cardinals. Still to come. Pirates and Tigers, Marlins, Phillies, Mets, Braves, Orioles, Rays, Astros, A's, Dodgers, Padres. A couple of other finals. Twins hammer the Reds 12-5. Yankees take out the Angels today 7-3. It was the Nationals with a home run in the 11th to beat the Rockies and avoid the 4-game sweep at the hands of the Rockies. They beat them 4-3. Tigers over the Pirates 9-2. Game 1 of the doubleheader. The Cardinals take out the White Sox 5-4. It was the Brewers over the Cubs 8-7. Royals over the Rangers 4-1, and the Diamondbacks take out the Blue Jays 9-5.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776. You guys can weigh in on whatever's on your mind, whatever we're talking about, whether it's the Mariners, Seahawks, anything else. Go ahead, throw it out there. Meanwhile, Mariners with the day off today, they did drop the series to the Red Sox. They go 4-2 on the homestand, which is good. Didn't feel as good because you won the first 3. You swept the Guardians, and then you dropped 2 of 3 to the Red Sox, in which you scored a total of 1 run in those 2 games. It was bad.
It was kind of shocking when you said, Dan was talking about that yesterday. We won the homestand 4, and it sure didn't feel like it.
No, didn't end well. It ended with offensive futility. So that didn't feel very good.
I also hate that when we go over for the day games and they lose that game.
Yeah, it's never fun to be in the clubhouse after that. Yeah. Never. It's very quiet. It's very somber. Yeah. And people aren't excited to talk. But one guy we did get a chance to talk to, who finally he made his return from the IL, that would be Logan Gilbert. Hadn't pitched a big league game since April 25th. So his first start out there, he looks great. Struck out 10, gave up 2 runs in 5 innings. Really good effort, better than I was expecting, certainly. So we talked to him about his rehab and everything he went through, working his way back to the big club. Here's what he had to say.
How tough was it for you, of all people? Because you seem like one of the more maybe hyper-competitive guys out there, to be out since April 25th and come back. What was that time off like for you, having not gone through it before?
Yeah, it's pretty hard, like you said. It's not something I wish on anybody. Even 6 or 7 weeks, compared to a year isn't a crazy amount of time, but it was really hard just sitting there, feeling like you're not really helping the team a ton, on the mound at least. So it's nice to be past it, but during the time it's pretty hard.
What's some of the good and the bad, Logan, from your outing that you had the other night?
I feel pretty good about it. Kind of taking steps in the right direction. I feel like all the pitches, what they're doing is pretty much where I want it to be. The splitter felt good and got a decent amount of swing and miss, so that's always good. Want to continue to try to be efficient, get ahead of guys. That's always stuff to work on and can always be better about that. And just a couple mistakes leaving sliders up, so that's something I'll just keep hammering, get the ball down, good things happen.
Yeah. When you're going through a rehab start, are you just working strictly on you? Like, hey, I want to work on my splitter, I want to work on my velo. Like, are you scouting hitters at all, or are you just going up there and saying, this is my priority, these pitches and the velocity?
Right. It's a little bit of both, where I'm kind of focused on what I want to, and then Harry and Hyro in AAA did a good job of letting me know about the hitters, the team, all that kind of stuff. So there's definitely stuff I was trying to hammer home before getting back here. I will say it's interesting that the AAA zone seems pretty tight, and the hitters are actually really good at, I think they've gotten used to the zone. They know it really well. So I didn't have a ton of guys chasing the ball a lot, especially the breaking pitches down. So I might have overcorrected a little bit, and it's not a big issue at all, but almost trying to throw the ball in the zone all the time because they just weren't chasing the ball. So I had to almost recommit to, people will swing if you throw a good slider under the zone or whatever it is. So not ever giving in.
It was really cool the other night after Woo's start. You guys were all standing around in the dugout kind of having conversations. Tell us, what are you guys talking about? Are you just sharing, or what kind of stuff's going on there?
Just telling him how good he is. I mean, it's pretty simple with that guy, with all of them, really. I mean, it's always fun. We're such a tight unit, and when you go out there, you're alone. You're by yourself on the mound, which is great in a way, but also it's you against everybody. So afterwards, I think it's important for us to we usually always do huddle up and talk about the good, talk about the bad, whatever it is, but kind of keep together as a unit as much as possible. I feel like we support each other pretty good.
Is there a moment in that start where you feel like, okay, I'm good physically, like I'm able to throw 3 splitters in a row, or I'm hitting 98 on the gun? Is there any kind of marker where you look at it and go, I'm back, I'm good?
I could tell before the game a little bit, at least in terms of where my arm was at, because the 2-3 starts before I went down, I could tell I was a little tight when I was warming up, and warming up the other day, I just felt normal and loose and everything, so it was a great sign. All the pitches felt fine, splitter, whatever it is, coming out of my hand physically, so I felt like that was fine. And then the velo being around where it should be, first inning was a good sign, so all that stuff kind of checks out.
Because of this last, little injury that you had, have you changed added anything to your routine as far as rehabilitation and the things that you're doing after an outing?
Yeah, a little bit. The arm care with the training staff, they're really, really smart in there and know what they're doing. So we made a couple tweaks here and there on my forearm program or arm care, bullpen days, whatever it may be, that kind of strengthens and tries to keep the arm in a good spot, and always trying to work on my workload. I like to do a lot, so I have to be careful not to do too much.
Did you find a new gadget that could help with that at all?
It's funny you ask, actually. The place I train, the Armory, they sent me this little device that you shake it. It's supposed to help that forearm muscle in there. So I've been using it for the past month or so, just warm up and cool down, and I like it, so adding to the bag.
You have to take an old one out now, make room?
I need to. I'm bad about that, but I should.
Is that like the shake weight? Is that what you're
kind of like
see
that?
The commercial?
Yeah. I mean, it's not that, but you could picture it. It's somewhat close.
Hey, how about your guy Cal, man? Just on a tear right now. And then also we wanted to ask you about the whole lie detector test. That was freaking hilarious. How much fun did you have taping that?
Yeah, that was awesome. I still get people saying stuff about it. Byrne was talking about it today, so I'm glad everybody got a kick out of it. We had a great time recording it. That was probably my favorite thing we've done in spring training so far, and can't say enough about what he's doing. The guy's best in the league right now, so it's just fun showing up and watching him every day.
Who wrote those questions?
I think it was Tim with the social media, or maybe it was Tim or somebody else. I still don't know if he was real or not. They told me. They told me he was. But
that was the funniest part is you kept giving him a look and checking his credentials with different questions.
He made a website, so it's either it's real or they tried really hard to fool me.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, that was good stuff. You were great in that, kind of like an actor. Like you didn't even rehearse any of that stuff, and some of the reactions were really priceless.
Yeah. Just a natural, I guess.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect it, but I'm not really one to love being in front of the camera, but it's fun doing stuff like that.
Now, are you taking extra precaution with the arm? They showed video of you the other day throwing the ball for Tucker, but you were throwing it with your left arm.
Yeah.
Was that? Do you write left-handed?
Yeah, I write lefty. Definitely don't throw lefty if you saw the video, but I would probably do that either way.
Just to protect the
especially
arm.
in season, between outings, stuff like that,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't know if that was an extra step of caution based on what's happened, or that's just how you...
Probably normal. Probably would have done it either way.
Well, you look at the way most people throw left-handed or off-handed. It's pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't...
Not bad. There's a couple things I'd clean up, but I'll take it.
Well, Logan, we appreciate it, man. It was great to see you back out there, and wish you the best of luck on the road.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good being back out there.
There's some things I'd like to clean up. That's how serious and competitive he is.
Yeah.
He's out there throwing the ball to the dog. at T-Mobile Park, walking around barefoot, playing fetch with the dog. I'd like to clean some things up about that.
Yeah, he's pretty serious about everything.
He
very
competes,
competitive,
man. He's very competitive. But
Well, and you know, it's funny. I mean, we know him the way we know him because we've interviewed him every year in the spring. He comes out to Edgar's. That's an intimidating looking dude. I mean, and when he's up on the mound and you saw him walking around. Lefko went up to him and was like, "Hey, would you mind?" I mean, he looks like he might be one of those guys that could snap your head off. Right?
Well, after that loss yesterday, he was walking with a determined look on his face too. I was like, "Uh-oh, I got to catch him."
Yeah,
and he didn't look too happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, look,
he just was on a mission. Yeah,
yeah, and you can understand that totally. Especially and like we talked about, it sucks when you have to go down there into the clubhouse, try to get interviews from guys, and they're all bummed out. But yeah, you imagine Logan up on the mound, and I remember we talked to Blowers one time, and he said he made the mistake of saying hi to him or something on the bus on a day where he was starting, and Logan was just quiet, just a totally different guy turns into out on the mound. So yeah, really just one of our favorite people, but also just a super intense dude.
Very, very intense. And it's funny how he was talking about, that it was a little harder to pitch to those guys in AAA that they don't chase. Thinking,
Right.
God, they're not as good as the big league hitters, but just that they're conditioned, their sense of a strike zone is different there, and it's not getting them to chase. And it doesn't sound like they put in much in the way of scouting. He's like, well, these guys did a good job, kind of keep me up to speed. But if you're a rehabbing big leaguer, you're working on your thing. Right. I mean, I'm sure you like to win. It's fun to win, but I just think it impacts your day. You're like, I need to be able to throw this splitter. I need to be able to hit 98 on the gun. I need to be able to locate my slide. Whatever you're working on, that's priority.
I can't imagine what that must be like, though, for him. I mean, look, everybody knows it's a rehab start.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you got these AAA kids down there probably going, okay, I'm going to make a name for myself by hitting off of this guy. This guy's a big leaguer. He's an all-star. Hell yeah.
Like, this is your opening day starter for the Mariners? Yeah, all-star. This is a guy with a name, especially around here.
Yeah.
It's gonna look good for me if I go up there and rip a double down the line or something off of him.
Yeah, and so, I don't know. I should ask him that question, but, I mean, I don't know. You've got your pride, and you're like, I'm a big leaguer, and, if somebody does happen to hit you or, you lose on a pitch, that's got to be, I don't know, little on the humiliating side, I guess. But, look, it's a rehab start, so it's not like he's got a full scouting report and all that. But yeah, that's got to be. I'm just trying to imagine what that would be like if, I know this. When I got into the NFL and after like a week of practice, I was like, I wish I could go back to college.
You'd be able to dominate.
Oh, I got so much. You see. Like I always say, like guys that play in college that are good enough to get drafted and everything, everything's working, right?
Yeah.
You get to the next level, it's not working. Those things don't work, on big league, hitters, in this case. So, yeah, I think it's really kind of an interesting phenomenon that you go down to AAA and you're facing these guys that are a bunch of punk kids and like you think punks. You think you're gonna make your name hitting me? I mean, that's got to be kind of up your competitiveness a little bit.
I'd think so. Yeah, and if I were in the box against him, I would be like, this is gonna. A, it's gonna look good. B, how much confidence does that give you?
Oh yeah.
You might in the back of your mind go, well, yeah, he is rehabbing. Still, it's Logan Gilbert. I hit a double or whatever you did. It's gonna give you confidence,
right?
So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, good stuff from Logan, and I do love that he's still very, very suspicious of the lie detector guy.
He must have spent half of the things that he said was questioning the lie detector guy.
Well, and even when we talked to him after we stopped recording, he wasn't even really smiling when he was saying. He's like, well, I mean, he's got a website, but I don't know. He's just so leery, just waiting for something to pop out. Like, gotcha. He's an equipment guy or something, But
he's not going to be anybody's fool. That's for sure,
man. He's very, very suspicious of that whole thing. And if you haven't seen that video, the lie detector test video between him and Cal Raleigh, it is hilarious. And whoever wrote the questions, it is worth your time to watch. It is hilarious.
Oh, they did such a good job. And then, some of the competition that they have amongst each other, because he went to Stetson, and then Cal, of course, went to Florida State, and said, "Did we beat you?" And he's like, "Yes, 1 out of 9 times." So,
but they're like asking who's better looking and would you want a bigger dumper?
Yeah.
Should you have been an all-star before? It was good. The questions were hilarious.
And then Cal reveals that the big dumper is sometimes inconvenient. What the hell?
So funny.
Yeah, but I love the camaraderie. And we heard stories that those two didn't necessarily get along great. Early on. And I think they were screaming and yelling at each other, but it was like they just kind of stubborn, both of them, and now you can see what good friends they are. So
we did get a lot of texts when we were talking about what's wrong with this Mariners offense. What's the biggest reason that they're inconsistent? Is it lack of talent? Is it coaching? Is it injuries? What's the biggest reason? Had a couple people go, "It's Julio." Okay, there are 8 other guys in the lineup. On any given day, there are 8 other guys, and really the only guy who's been producing consistently is Cal, which means there are 7 other guys, and JP's been hot, so I'll remove him. But you got a lot of candidates out there to put it on one guy, and I understand he's the biggest name, he's the face, all of that, and he's going to get that spotlight, he's going to get that attention and that criticism. Totally understand that, but it takes more. Yeah. It takes more than just him. And he's been getting on base. He's just not been doing any damage. Like I said, over the past month, he's been Ichiro. He's hitting for a high average, but he's slapping singles. He's just drilling the ball into the ground, rarely getting the ball in the air, lining it. It doesn't feel like he's barreling up the ball. I haven't seen those numbers, but it just – I'm not sure why that is or what's going on there. But, yeah, the production just isn't there for Julio. And we saw them give Cal a day off recently. You got to give some of these guys a day off. JP just had a day off recently. Should they give Julio a day off? I mean, I know they have a day off today, but I'm wondering how much good it would do him to watch a game, just to sit back, take the pressure off, no expectation. Just, hey man, you kick your feet up today. Don't even put spikes on. Wear tennis shoes.
Yeah, it's such a tough one with Julio because, as you've mentioned, it's not like he's not producing. I mean, if you look at the 2023. Season, I think, is kind of the benchmark for him. That's the standard. He was an all-star, and he had 37 doubles that year, but the 32 home runs, 37 stolen bases. He was batting 275. Now it's 254, and just not the power numbers aren't great. The slug, I think it's his lowest slug at this point anyway, at 407. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a weird one because it's not like, and again, his defense accounts for so much. And I know a lot of people don't typically pay attention to that part of it, but
I hope you did when he left that one game and they put Leody Taveras out there.
Yeah.
I hope you were paying attention.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, he just, everything that gets hit out there, you just assume he's going to get to it. He's just got great range. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of hard to criticize Julio, but like you do need him to be that guy. So I liked what Kirkjian said yesterday. I've never written off anyone who's under the age of 25. So, what is he, 24 now? Or is
he's 24.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's just kind of a tough one with Julio. I think everybody loves Julio, and I don't think anybody's like, oh, he sucks or anything like that. It's not anywhere close to that, but it just seems very necessary that you need somebody other than Cal coming up with some power.
Well, it's him and Rosarena too.
Yeah,
throwing a Rosarena in there. That's why you picked him up. And he's a guy who's had pop in the past, and I think combined between Tampa and Seattle last year, he hit 20 home runs. So, he's a guy who's gotten on base. His on base looks great. He's been hit, I think, 11 or 12 times. He's tied for the league lead with Ty France. So he's been plunked a bunch. He's walked a bunch. But it's kind of like Julio getting singles. It's like, yeah, it's good you're getting on base, but you're here to do damage. Mm-hmm. You're here to drive in runs. And you're not getting that from really either of those guys. And Kirkjian, you brought him up. We talked to him, and he talked about the Mariners absolutely needing to see more power from Julio.
No, he's going to have to hit more than this. When I say hit, he's going to have to produce a lot more than this because he's good enough to produce a lot more than this. Cal Raleigh's great, but he's slugging almost 200 points higher than Julio is right now. And that just doesn't follow. I mean, Cal Raleigh's been great, but Julio and Randy Arozarena really have got to start to hit the ball out of the ballpark and get some big hits and drive in some runs and do some things. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to make the playoffs.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, it's got to be Cal, it's got to be JP, it's got to be Julio, it's got to be Randy, it's got to be Luke Raley when he comes back, Polanco. I mean, those are your guys. You know, everybody else you sprinkle in Mastroboni and you got two young guys, and that really, I think we forget about that because you look at the numbers and you go, all right, well, Cole Young's starting to come up with some base hits and Williamson's done a nice job hitting, but neither are doing damage at this point, and I'm not going to hold them to that standard. They're fighting their way through their rookie seasons at the big league level, and the fact that they're getting on base, coming up with some hits, and playing good defense, I'll take it. But they're not driving in runs, and specifically from third base. That's a production spot. Your first and third is where you need some boppers there, and you're not getting that at a third.
Yeah, I was just looking at O'Hearn, and I don't know. I mean, the more we talk about it, the kid from Baltimore, the more I think it won't happen just because the AL is very unsettled. You look at his slug numbers are 486, and Julio somewhere in the low 400s. So. Yeah, I feel like that almost makes too much sense. And then also there's going to be other teams. I mean, you just hope that the Baltimore Orioles there's someone that they covet here and one of our prospects possibly that, that would make everything, because we're talking about first base earlier, and that's where O'Hearn fits in perfectly, but makes too much sense. He's batting .302 right now. So it makes way too much sense that we would trade away one of our prospects for a guy like that who could help us right away.
You're saying because it makes so much sense that they won't do it?
Yes. It's too obvious.
Yeah, it is obvious. It's just what is their tolerance? Like how high end of a prospect are you willing to give up for what ultimately is a rental player? Right. You're going to have that player for a couple of months, guaranteed for the couple of months. Then who knows what happens at the end of the season? Are you going to buck up and pay this guy? Do you want to pay him? Does he come here and fall flat? Does he come here and really, light a fire under this lineup? And you really want to I mean, no telling how it works out, but the potential is there that he's only here for a couple of months and then he moves on to another team with a big deal, and you gave up Harry Ford for him.
Right. Yeah.
And did he get you to the playoffs? Did you not get to the playoffs? So, yeah, that's again, that's the toughest part, I would imagine, of Justin and Jerry's job is how much risk do we assume here? Do we really believe we're a bat away from being a playoff team?
Right. Yeah, the urgency, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, based on what we saw during the offseason, I think Mariner management is willing to do what fans don't want to do, and that's be patient.
Well, I mean, you can't ask this fan base to be patient. You can't use that word.
No.
It doesn't apply. There is no patience. You can't keep kicking the can down the road or moving the goalposts or whatever you want to throw on there, whatever term. Been talking about we're going to be competitive in this year, and then it's going to be we're competitive in this year. And, yeah, competitive is great. How about in the postseason? Mm-hmm. How about more than once in over 2 decades you get to the playoffs? I don't think it's unreasonable. So, yeah, you can't use the word patience with this fan base on any level.
I'm going to do it just to piss people off.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. That's not going to play well.
Texters. 866-979-3776. Be patient.
Wow. We do need some mean tax, I think, for tomorrow, so good job.
Be patient with what? With the Mariners?
Yeah.
Just let it play out?
No, just in general in your life, but also, just be patient with the Seattle Mariners.
Oh,
they'll get there.
Yeah, one day. Hopefully we're all alive. There is one reason to think only reaching 10 wins would be a disappointment for the Seahawks this season. We'll tell you what that is coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. You just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. They're a local company serving all of Western Washington for the past 23 years. And when you hear Harley Exteriors, I want you to think windows. They're manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, and this is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years, and they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort, and they come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, and that means not only are you covered for glass breakage or damaged seals, it's going to help you with your resale value and just the overall value of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. So think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more right here in the Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY, or just go to harleyexteriors.com.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Breaking news for the people of Boomtown. With Xfinity Mobile, the Wi-Fi is booming at home and on the go.
And an upgrade storm's on the way.
That's right. And with Xfinity Mobile Premium Unlimited, you can upgrade your phone when you want, up to 2 times a year.
Now, once customers catch wind of the guaranteed new device discount, it'll be the biggest upgrade storm in history.
Wow. Let's hear from our weatherman on the scene.
How's it looking out there, Rick?
Well, Bill, the Wi-Fi is still booming.
Now through September 30th, existing Xfinity Internet customers can get an unlimited line included for a year. Plus, ask how to get a free 5G phone. Learn more at XfinityMobile.com. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Unlimited line offer requires Xfinity 300 megabit internet or above. Taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds vary.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays, 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The shots are coming in, Dave.
Apparently it's Friday. I thought it was Thursday.
Dave's catching some shots on the text line. 866-979-3776.
I like how somebody equivocates it. Like, how'd you get into Stanford?
Yeah.
By having an opinion?
You say something. I like the one that just said, Dave, I'm too stoned to be patient.
Yeah, I like that
206.
No, I mean, look, honestly, that's what pisses people off the most.
Yeah, you can't use that word.
No, absolutely not. So, but I can. Because I have the mic.
Yeah, you can, but you're going to draw that fire.
No, look, I mean, I think the clock is ticking. I mean, you're going to have to pay this rotation. You have to pay these guys at some point. And
at least a couple of them.
Yeah, and we'll see how many. But I don't know. I think not just because we just talked to him, but Logan just seems to be that guy. Like, I feel like he would be the next guy they would lock up to a long-term deal.
I would hope so. I would hope they've already had discussions.
Yeah.
I would go after him and Wu. I would think would be the two likely guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that just because Bryce is hurt right now. That makes it easier to say. And then Kirby's, finding his way back. But Logan's your opening day starter. He just seems like a guy you've invested more. He's, the campaigns, the marketing campaigns. He just seems like he's a little bit more of a face.
Yeah.
But what's happened behind closed doors, I'm not sure in the way of conversation. But I would hope they've reached out to the agents like, hey, let's talk. Let's at least gauge interest. Does he want to stay here? Is he somebody that's open to a deal before he hits free agency and, get rid of the arbitration years and everything? Or where's he at? What's the game plan?
Yeah, and let's say in a few years, like you have Logan, Wu, and Kirby. That's still like most people would kill to have those guys in their rotation. But, you've also had great performances from Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock. So, I mean, can you let a guy like Bryce Miller go or, maybe Castillo? I don't know. But I don't know. It feels like you could still just sign 3 guys and have a really good rotation just based on, what's happened with those guys I mentioned, Emerson Hancock and Logan.
Meanwhile, looking at the Seahawks, NFL.com did a story, and they gave a list of the most improved teams heading into the 2025 NFL season. And amongst those teams, they've got the Arizona Cardinals, the Chicago Bears, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Minnesota Vikings, the New England Patriots, the Jets, and the Washington Commanders. Seahawks weren't on that list. Should they have been?
Yeah, I think what everybody is thinking is that no, you didn't get better. You traded away, number one, a quarterback, and then DK Metcalf, and also you didn't re-sign. Tyler Lockett is now with the Tennessee Titans, so I think that most people are thinking it's a downgrade. So I posed the question. I would say probably not. But I do think that what they did offensively, especially with the coaching and everything, is an upgrade just overall. But I don't think people are seeing it that way. And I guess I can understand why, right? When you look at what these other teams have done and, some of the additions and I think a lot of people think that what they did at quarterback and with the receivers was kind of, sort of an even, like a level exchange. Like you didn't get any better. Maybe you didn't get worse, but it's not like you upgraded at those positions. And I think that's where that comes from and why they're not on the list. And which I think is fair.
I feel like we're putting a lot of stock into Kubiak and what this offense is going to look like without having seen it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the offense is going to look like. We can talk about what it looked like with other players that he's worked with, but
you have some idea.
But with these players, we don't know. I mean, we saw Grubb with the Huskies, and they were throwing the ball all over the place, and it looked like they were, elite. It was college, but you felt like, okay, I've got an idea of what it may look like, and it didn't look like that here. It didn't look good, but so I think we're putting a lot of faith into what he's going to bring to the table and how much better this offense is going to be, sort of sight unseen on some level, just as it pertains to him working with these players.
Yeah, well, I mean, with these particular players, they think they have the right guys, because I've asked a number of people down there, including Schneider, like, do you feel like you have the right players to run this offense? And the answer is yes from everyone. So, but yeah, I mean, we haven't actually seen it happen. But
how many people would say no to that?
What?
Honestly, if you ask that question, like, you think you got the right players? Do you think there's anybody that would actually tell you, I don't think we do?
I think
Mariners say they've got the right players.
Yeah. I mean, I think with, drafting a first-round guard, that was pretty much, like I said, it was very much complaint-free as far as the draft went. You've got Charles Cross, who, is a good, solid player. Abraham Lucas, I totally believe in. But, yeah, I mean, you've got two spots. And I wouldn't say that's uncommon in the NFL. I mean, I think most fan bases or, just experts or whatever, they would look at, most offensive lines like, okay, you got three good guys, and the other two you can, work. But I don't know, those things did work in college for Grubb. But the more I look at it and the more I look back and then see what Kubiak does, how he has a system, and it's like this play is setting up this play. There's like a pattern that you can see, whereas Grubb, it was just like, let's run this play, and then let's run this play, and then let's do this one. And I mean, it was just, I know it was frustrating for a lot of the offensive linemen. People are starting to talk about, how that went with Grubb, and I don't want to just beat up Grubb because, look, they won 10 games, and Geno had a good performance and everything, but there were just times where they just could not run the ball. And we've heard from, guys like Abraham Lucas that, like, that's non-negotiable, that whether we run the ball or not, we have to run the ball. So, yeah, we're putting a lot in it, but it is a system that's tried and true, and, it's worked over the years, whereas, going into the season last year with Grubb, I mean, you would say, yeah, it worked in college, but you don't really know if that's going to work at this level.
Is the bigger question with the O-line or your quarterback?
Yeah, I think it's probably quarterback, just because most people, that's what they're looking at, and a lot of people not necessarily looking at offensive line, but I would say that's what the whole fan base is more about that, but I think it's the offensive line. To me, that to me is the bigger question mark, and the part where I think you can see the most improvement.
Yeah, I think Kubiak's impact can be felt with the line maybe more so than the quarterback. I think Sam's going to be who he is and hopefully who he was last year, whereas I think this offense can really help this O-line be better and emphasize their strengths as opposed to trying to just squeeze them, what is it, the square peg in the round hole is what it felt like last year. You weren't, and I always go to what Schlereth said, like, hey, man, don't get mad at me because that play didn't work. You're the dumbass that asked me to do this knowing that I don't do that well. Yeah. You asked me to do that, and you asked this guy to do this thing that he doesn't do well. So you got to work with the talent that you've got, and it feels like that just what we've heard and how they speak about the O-line, that we should hopefully see that impact there.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that I heard that I think encapsulates the whole thing, we've heard that from Mark Schlereth, but Brady Henderson had that stat on the Saints and how many times they had a moving pocket, which is a tremendous benefit to offensive line. It's offensive line friendly. So, Yeah, I mean, there is still the question, do we have the talent? I mean, look, Gray Zabel's a rookie. You know, I mean, you never know. He might have some growing pains, but, you know, it looks like
he's not allowed.
He's going to be. It looks like he's going to be great. Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas. I think, you know, those three you can count on. But yeah, we'll see if they pick it up right away. It might take a while to get going. And the other problem with that is that there's just enough hitting during camp. And so that's really how you figure out your run game stuff. And I don't know if it might take them a couple of games.
All right, coming up, there is one Seahawks position group that seems to have a big difference when it comes to external and internal perception. Talk about that coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
The weather is getting consistently nice. Summer's almost here, and that's riding weather. Love getting out on the motorcycle when it's that weather, but you take a risk when you're on a motorcycle. I almost got cut off today on the way to work, so it just is a reminder of how easy it is to be involved in an accident. And if you're a motorcyclist who's been involved in an accident, you've been hurt in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say that they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who actually live it, and that's Law Tigers. They've been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They're there 24/7, 365 days a year, because riders deserve real support when they need it most. They're going to help you get your gear in your bike repaired or replaced. Law Tigers is the resource riders can turn to when they are in need, and they are there at all the events. You've seen their tents, you've seen their vans at all the motorcycle events. They support all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side, and of course, your case evaluation completely free. They don't get paid until you get paid. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone with Law Tigers. Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Bump here for the From America for America event at West Hills Ford. Buy a 2024 Ford Bronco Badlands with a low 3.9% APR for 72 months on approved credit. Offer ends July 2nd. West Hills Ford, the big Ford store, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Hey, are aches, injuries, or everyday pain slowing you down? Well, it is time to move better, feel stronger, and get back to doing what you love. IRG Physical and Hand Therapy is now accepting new patients, and no referral is needed. Their expert team offers personalized hands-on care to help you recover faster and stay pain-free longer. Shannon, what is it like to see new patients walk through your doors?
Rock, it's wonderful. You know why? It's because it's an opportunity for us at IRG to make a difference in someone's lives. It's so important that when people come in, they experience engagement, coaching, teaching. We build relationships with our patients, and we want to make it easy. We all know that healthcare has a lot of what I call minutia in it. We have a concierge call center. When you call, we're going to check your authorization, verification, certification, justification. We're going to find out everything we need to know about your insurance, and we're going to make it easy for you because we want you focusing on getting better.
And all you got to do is head over to irgpt.com to find the clinic nearest you. irgpt.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look at the Seahawks roster and certain position groups that you look at and go, all right, how are they doing here? Are they deep enough? Do they have enough talent here? And we talked about cornerbacks yesterday, Dave, looking at this cornerback room. You read off a lot of names.
Yeah.
A lot of names. I have no idea who they are.
There's some quantity.
There's quantity, but is there quality? I guess would be my question. Because yesterday when we were talking about, hey, do they have the depth? And you started going, well, they got Tyler Hall and Zy Alexander and Shamar Jean Charles. And I'm going, who the hell are these people?
Well, I wasn't saying they were quality. There's a lot of names. I mean, and not only that, you've got a question mark at one of them, and I don't know, Rick Woolen, maybe he's tired of hearing that, and I don't know if he's heard that. I think sometimes he hears things and can get a little chapped by it, which I don't blame him. He's a really good player when he plays and when he is like dialed in. But yeah, I mean, it was what I was talking about yesterday. Shamar Jean Charles. Look, Nehemiah Pritchett, I believe in, and I believe in Josh Jobs. Now, are they, going to be like all pro? I don't know about that. But I mean, I do think that those two guys are accomplished good corners. But, you got Spoon on that list, and then you got Rick Woolen. But yeah, there's just a lot of names. Tyler Hall, Zy Alexander. Those are guys that are going to have to battle it out. But, for whatever reason, I mean, shoot, Alexander only got signed for what? $4 million?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the potential to make 2 more.
Yeah. But I mean, we just signed a punter for $4 million. I mean, that's not a lot of money. So
why do you say punter with such disdain? A punter.
I'm glad we paid our guy. I mean, I'm glad he's
punter.
But, I mean, just in case somebody was thinking that, oh, yeah, we're going to have to spend $10 to $15 to $20 million for a corner, that's what he went for. So, yeah, I mean, but it just shows you that that's where the belief system that they have in their corners and having that battle. Now, they get into camp a week or two, and now all of a sudden that battle is not playing out the way they want it. Nobody's really stepping up and grabbing, a spot as far as, whether it's the starter on one side or, backup or depth or whatever. Then, maybe you'll see them make a move. But it's just one of those. I would say the same thing about linebacker, inside backer, off the ball linebackers. There's not a lot of depth there either. So, we'll see if they have some guys that they really believe in and think that can create the kind of competition that would, get a guy a starting spot or a good solid backup.
Yeah, we this is from June 11th, and Mike McDonald speaking with the media, and he was asked about the depth of that cornerback spot and how he feels about it.
Great. Yeah, we got, again, these are great battles going into the offseason. Now, I mean, are we not going to look to always improve our team in any aspect? No, we're always going to be out there and try to be in everything, and chasing edges on making us better. But the guys that are with us right now, kind of in that 3, 4, 5 spot is exciting. I mean, the guys are doing a great job, but go nail it this summer and come back and go compete your butt off.
Chasing edges, and then they're excited about the guys in the 3, 4, 5 spot. So and I'm not sure exactly who those guys are, but I just read off the names, and and I guess if that competition doesn't go the way that they want it, then they'll probably go to the outside. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, you look at this defense, and it's sort of up the middle. Like the safeties are a big deal. And I feel really good about Eamon Warry coming in, having Kobe Bryant in there, and of course Julian. So I feel good about depth there. Not so much about inside backer, but maybe somebody will step up. But I think that's similar, but I don't think it's quite as urgent as cornerback, just because we have that question mark about Reek Woolen. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, JT Woods is another guy. And then the other thing that I look at is when I see Devin Witherspoon, I just think it would be a huge waste to have him play on the outside. I think Moyer talked about that as well. And you got to have that guy in the box as a nickel guy, or every once in a while if he's on the outside, okay, fine, he's a great cover guy. But he's also very physical, and he plays so much better in the box. So it would almost be like a waste. But if you had to do that, I don't think they're going to make it, get it to that point, because like I said, the action kind of on this defense is all up the middle. The plays that get made in the middle of the field, and people are starting to attack the middle of the field a lot more offensively. And
so you feel good about what they've got there. You don't feel like they should be kicking the tires on some of those names we threw out there yesterday.
Me personally, no, I'm not comfortable, because I haven't seen it, and I haven't, like for most fans, but apparently they are. So, I mean, maybe somebody will emerge out of this. I'd say ask me after a couple of weeks of practice, if for my opinion anyway, not that it matters, but yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of guys there, but it's not like anybody that is established or that you can count on. I mean, there's certain guys you go through and look and go, I know I can count on that guy, and one of those being Spoon. Unfortunately, and I think this is what really screws the whole thing up, is the Reek Woolen question. And maybe that's not as big of a question as we all think, but it was kind of interesting last year that he got benched for a series, and there were some times where I think he had some focus problems. So, but athletically, we know he can do it. Boy, he's very interesting from the standpoint of like his best year by far was his rookie year.
Yeah, and who was it? Was it Paul we were talking to, kind of qualified it? Like, yeah, he had interceptions, but there were all these other areas where he kind of he wasn't great. Was that Paul? We were talking to somebody who's kind of qualified that rookie year a bit.
What do you have, 6 interceptions?
6 picks.
And he should have had 8.
But talked about, like, yeah, but there were other areas of his game that...
Oh, yeah. Paul was talking about the run support part of it.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. And, it's funny. I mean, in the very first game against Denver, his rookie year, he came up and just blasted a guy, turned the a receiver, turned the ball back inside, and then he kind of came off like there was something wrong with his shoulder or something. And then I didn't really see that much after that. So we'll see.
Could have scared him straight. You never know. All right, coming up, it's time to face the music. We're going to revisit our Call It Now picks from the Mariners-Red Sox series. That is coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Coons and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's something completely overblown at OTAs?
Interceptions. So when an interception is thrown, all people see is the end result. I don't think they realize that could have been a free play. He's tossing it up, or he's told just to throw the football so the defense gets a look. Kobe Bryant was over the top. Boom, he gets an interception. It can be deceiving at times.
4 Down Territory every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay, and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Values have to be within your leadership staff, right? And then that filters down into the rest of your staff.
We are together, we are a team, and without that thought process, you're sunk.
I still revert back to, if I work at a location and I'm willing to have my son work at this location, that should tell you a great deal. I didn't steer my son away, I steered my son to it.
They call it the Lee Johnson Auto family, and it's not just a name, it's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family.
As much as I'd love to think that they trust me, yeah, our family name is trusted, but it's because of those individual interactions with our people that those folks have had over the years. That's where they build their trust with the relationship.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners with the day off today, heading to Chicago to take on the first place Chicago Cubs. We'll see what they can get done against that team who puts up a whole bunch of runs. Mariners needed this day off after dropping 2 of 3 to the Boston Red Sox. Taking a look at games going on right now. Cardinals out in front of the White Sox 6-1 in Chicago, top of the 5th. That's game 2 of a doubleheader, a makeup game after the one was rained out on the 18th, which would be, I guess, yesterday. Also, the Tigers and Pirates in game 2 of a makeup doubleheader. Pirates up 4-0 right now in the top of the 4th. Headed to the bottom of the 2nd in Miami, no score between the Phillies and the Marlins. Finals from earlier today, Twins hammer the Reds 12-5. Yankees take out the Angels 7-3. It took 11 innings, but the Nationals avoid the 4-game sweep at the hands of the Rockies. They beat them 4-3. Tigers take out the Pirates 9-2. Game 1 of the doubleheader. Cardinals beat the White Sox 5-4. It was the Brewers taking out the Cubs 8-7. Rangers fall to the Royals 4-1. Diamondbacks take out the Blue Jays 9-5, and the Giants over the Guardians 2-1.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Dave, we make a lot of predictions on this show.
Yeah.
Some you want to be right about, some you want to be wrong about.
I don't want to be wrong.
I wanted you to be right on some of these. We do this before most series with the Mariners. Call it now. Go through a series of categories and pick an over-under on each one and debate it. And different levels of optimism or pessimism will rise to the top in certain cases. But let's review what we did in terms of our picks.
We have to?
With the Mariners and the Red Sox. All right. The first one is the one we always start with. It's the obvious. How many games do the Mariners win out of the 3 games? That's number one. Number one question here is how it was answered.
Just to further confuse people, I'm going to say 3.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
So you're calling for a sweep. Oof. I'm going to say 2 of 3. Okay. I'm going to say they win the series.
No.
We were both way too optimistic there.
At least you were closer.
You were feeling all good coming out of that Guardians sweep. You won 3 in a row. You're like, they're going to just freight train this team that's on their heels. They traded Devers. They're going to be out of sorts.
Absolutely. And, yeah, they gave up 5 runs in the series.
Yeah.
And got beat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that very confusing. I don't think that it cleared anything up. We were coming off of what? We got swept by Arizona, and then we sweep Cleveland. And so at that point, everybody's like, we came in on Monday. Who are these guys?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question asked. And now we still don't really know who they are.
No, not really. And we've had a couple of national voices on, Tim Kirkjian being one.
Yeah.
And our guy today, and everybody's going, I don't know. I don't know who they are either.
How did Tim Kirkjian say it, Bob?
He said, I'm just as confused by the Mariners as all of you are. We love Tim. I'm not mocking Tim. He's got a very unique delivery.
Hey, if you have people like imitating you, that's, best, flattery you can possibly get. But I got to say, like, Kyle Brown's pretty good with that.
Yeah, Kyle nails it.
I don't know. I think Bob might have
Can you try yours again? Your Baltimore one?
Oh, Polanco?
Yeah,
Polanco.
Come on, there's nothing wrong with
I still need to hear that from
actually.
SVP.
Oh, you haven't heard it yet?
I still haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me find a clip of it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, maybe you did. You played was there a montage you had of it? Or
I tried to get you to say Giolito.
Giolito, but I haven't heard. I don't have anything to go on.
Yeah,
I've heard
I'm
you
sure,
do it.
I'm sure you could. Well,
I'd be imitating you.
That won't help you. Sorry. See if you can find it, Mike. But yeah,
we'll find those. All right, let's move on to the other category. So we were both wrong on that. We were both way too optimistic. You called for a sweep. I called for 2 of 3. We were both wrong. And then let's see. Question number 2 was over under 12.5 runs scored for the Mariners. We know they scored 8 in the middle game. That was great.
And you're thinking, hey, there you go.
And then they managed 1 total run in the other 2 games. So total of 9 is what they scored. Here's what we predicted.
I'm going to go over. Wrong. That's how they're gonna sweep the Boston Red Sox.
I'm going to take the under on there.
Bingo! How fun!
You know, you got Crochet in there. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. And the other 2, are you going to pile up runs on Giolito and Buehler? I'm going to take the under. You did on Buehler. Giolito just owns you.
Yeah. By the way, I wrote down in the notes, in Dan's, post-game presser there, Crochet is really good. That was said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew that going in, but he reinforced that.
He did reinforce it.
What we didn't know is Giolito was going to own him the way that he did.
That one particularly pissed you off.
Yeah, in a really big way.
You go back 2 games, and the guy couldn't get out of the first inning.
Oh, just getting lit up and the blown opportunity. We don't need to relive it. But, all right, so you missed that one. I got that one. How about this one? Over under 10.5 runs allowed.
Under. Yeah, I'm gonna bank on Logan being the old Logan Gilbert.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
You think he comes out tonight and just looks like he hasn't skipped a beat?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the under as well, because I don't think they're gonna pile up a ton of runs. We'll see what they do, but I think the pitching's gonna come through in these 3 starts.
Boy, do I hate being right all the time.
There we go.
Pitching did come through in all 3 starts.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a brilliant start from Wu. You had a solid start from Castillo. It was a quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs allowed, and then Logan, he didn't give you 6, but he went 5, gave up 2 runs, struck out 10. So your pitching and the bullpen. I don't want to leave those guys out, because there are times we rail on them when they're not good. But
Vargy's been good.
They were really good. Bizardo was good in this. The bullpen and the starters. Pitching was not a problem at all in this series.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have a new series to look back on that we might look back on, because it was just like a Robbie Ray 1-hit game, and we lose 1-0. It was a classic Mariner couple of games there. That you've got great pitching, didn't allow a lot of runs, and you lose the series, and you got no offensive support. I think that this might be maybe a low point, for a lot of fans. Anyway, that was, and the other thing, again, we talked about Red Sox coming in here, they're reeling a little bit. Sometimes that solidifies your team. It gets guys to kind of get together and like, oh man, times are tough right now, and they, play a little bit better. Yeah.
How about this one? J.P. Crawford, who'd just been on a tear, multiple hit games in a row. He's walking, he's hitting, he's just doing everything. Would he be on base over or under 8.5 times total in those 3 games?
I'm going to go under on that. I'm going to go under 8.5 times.
If he gets, that's 3 times a game, would be 9, 8. Heck, he can get on 8 times. I'll probably take the under.
Affirmative.
Yeah, you got on 5.
What was that drop? What did it say?
Affirmative.
Affirmative. Okay.
Affirmative.
Yeah. What was his total? Was it 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we both got that one right. Then we get to Julio. Over under 1.5 home runs in the series.
I'm going to say over on that one.
Wrong-o.
Yeah, I think Julio just continues to be kind of a mystery, as to whether or not he is an absolute bona fide superstar.
I'm going to take the under.
Yeah, that's right.
That was wise.
It was wise, yeah.
Number came in.
That was another one I want to be wrong on.
0.
Yeah, 0. He went well under. And then Cal, we over or under 1.5 home runs.
Yeah, I'm going to go over on the home runs for Cal.
Well. You blew it. Super hard.
Complete buffoonery.
It's natural that he's going to cool off. So I'm going to take the under. I think he gets one in the series.
I'm sure Bob knows. He knows Paul.
Does Lofa know he's part of that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Make sure we get his permission for that.
Yeah, it comes in handy, though.
Yeah,
It's a
I've
good
never
draw.
gotten the Lofa praise.
Yeah.
Never have.
Well, you got to dominate the way I have in these things, Dave. Cal under. He had that one home run. And then Logan Gilbert, does he get a quality start? That was the final question.
Maybe he's been like a caged animal waiting to get back out on the mound.
He probably has.
He's got that quality with him, so I'm going to say yes on the quality start.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I could see him going 5. I could see, maybe he walks a couple guys. Maybe that command isn't quite where it needs to be first start out of the gates. I'm just trying to give him a cushion. I don't want to. I'm not placing heavy expectations on him game one. So I'm trying to say, all right, look, maybe he gives you 5.
Affirmative.
Well, I think Bob, he's like, well, I'm going to be friendly with Logan and say all this, but you bet against him.
Yeah. It turns out I was right.
You don't go against Logan.
Oh, he gave us 5.
I should have told him that.
He gave us 5.
When we interviewed him yesterday, I said, Bob here
said you'd only go 5, and he'd go,
no quality.
No quality. Bob said you had no quality whatsoever. All right, so
I have an update as well.
Okay.
Dave was feeling a little bad about his picks, so to make us all feel better, I do have Tim Kirchin and Scott Van Pelt doing Baltimore accents.
There we go.
Think of Giovanni Gallardo joining that staff.
He's really going to help him, Scott.
Yeah?
He's a very good pitcher, and they really needed him. And I vowed to be better this year. I'm going to turn 60 this year, and as soon as they signed Gallardo on the Orioles, I knew I was dead. So we're in for another one. What if they had the old pitching coach on their team, the guy who rocked back and forth? What if he went to the mound to take Gallardo out? What would that be like?
Leo Mazzoni? What if they traded for Antonio Bastardo? What if they could get a guy to come out of retirement? What if they could get Hippolito Pichardo? You could have Pichardo, Bastardo, Gallardo, and Mazzoni. Can it happen?
It would be great. And then who could throw out the first ball? The Ravens quarterback. What's his name?
Joe Flacco? I love you, Tim. I'm sorry.
Wow, Tim's just howling with laughter on those. My goodness.
I'm fascinated by that accent, though, because where in the hell does that come from? And then I've only heard people make fun of it. But I think, oh, no, wait. Last year I went online. I don't know if these people were like playing it up or not, but they were like having a family conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could hear it. I think SVP kind of accentuates it a little bit more than it is, but that's just bizarre.
It is a weird, I don't know that I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I mean, now that sounds like, God, who was that old school nighttime host? We got a really big show.
Big show, yes. Ed Sullivan.
Ed Sullivan, yeah. That's the only time that's what I hear there. Was he from Maryland?
Maybe he was from Baltimore.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody else speak that way other than the clips I've seen of him.
Well, and I've seen other things too, like different words, like they call it Balmore.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of an exaggeration, but they don't say Baltimore, it's Balmore.
Balmore?
Yeah, so it just... Yeah, very.
Why do they have to talk that way? Why can't they just speak like everybody else?
Speak normal, man. What's so funny is we're doing this 50th podcast thing for the Seahawks, and yesterday Moyer and I were down at the VMAC, and we were talking about Rusty Tillman, who was a great special team coach, but he used to do that all the time. The Ed Sullivan, he would put like his hands behind his back and like. Stand there. We got a really big show, and he would always do that. And I was like, "What is that? What the hell are you doing?" It's like it's Ed Sullivan. Yeah,
he's older.
I think some of our older listeners might remember Ed Sullivan.
Yeah, that's
black and white.
Yeah, you see those clips of the Beatles and the Doors and all these acts that Elvis when he was on these shows and Sinatra.
Really big show.
Yeah, that's the only time I can think of that I've heard somebody speak that way.
Well,
though.
I think if you look it up on the internet, they have like all these different videos of people, but it is just bizarre.
Yeah,
it is a bizarre way to speak.
They talk funny. That's weird.
God, talk's funny.
Meanwhile, the 2025 All-Star ballot is open. Cal, Julio, JP, whoever you want to vote for on this Mariner team, they need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote 5 times per day, every day, through June 26th at MLB.com/vote. So get out there and vote. Meanwhile, we talked about this earlier to open the show in case you're just joining us. Luke Raley is expected to be activated potentially as soon as tomorrow. We'll see. But once he's back, the Mariners need to make a roster move. And we are trying to figure out who's the odd man out. Now, our buddy Daniel Kramer of MLB.com wrote a piece isolating 3 guys that are the likely candidates that will be one could be sent down to the minors. One of the other 2 could be DFA'd, depending on who they choose. And then Mastroboni was sort of the wild card. He could be the guy, but he kind of plays everywhere, so he's got more value. So the 3 guys that he was talking about in his article are Donovan Solano, or better known as Donnie Barrels, Dom Canzone, or Rowdy Tellez. One of those 3, it seems, again, Mastroboni sort of the wild card, but we'll just stick with these 3. One of those to be jettisoned.
Yeah, and you said Canzone has the most moves.
Well, he's got options. The other guys could just refuse outright. They're owed money, not big money. 3.5. They signed Solano for $3.5 million. So whatever he's got left of that, they'd still owe him. Tellez was $1.5 million. So whatever's left of that. So yeah, baseball dollars, it's nothing. But who knows if that plays a factor with this ownership group.
I guess the guy that I'm less likely to get rid of is Tellez, I have to admit. I think I've underestimated him and like his fielding. I mean, every once in a while you'll see the lack of range, but he does a great job picking at first base, and you know, he's got some power. I think he has the number 3 third best slug percentage on the team.
Yeah, he's tied for second in home runs with Polanco at 11.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like him. I like Rowdy. I like Canzone too, but yeah, to me, and I think almost the last time we talked about this, most people were like, well, first of all, they were like, who's Donnie Barrels? Well, you should know that. Come on, it's Solano.
Who doesn't know that?
We pretty much bring that up all the time. I remember the very first day that he was signed, Lefko found his nickname. And we've called him that ever since. But
he's hitting .313 in the month of June with a .353 on base.
Yeah,
which has brought his overall average up to 198.
That's the one that gets you there.
That tells you how bad it was going. The fact that he's only played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games so far in the month of June. But he's done well in those 7 games, comparatively speaking. And you look at what he did in April, he hit a .175 with a 190 on base. In May, he got better, 214, 290 on base. And then so far in June, in 7 games, 313 with a 353 on base.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're not getting much out of him. I mean, he's not playing much. B, he's not delivering much in the way of driving in runs, which you didn't expect. He's not a power guy. It's not been what he's done in his career, but you were hoping he was just going to be an on-base guy. He's going to work, whether it's a base hit or he works a walk, and he was going to be there to be driven in, and that just wasn't happening.
Yeah. Can we hear about from Dan Wilson about Donnie Barrels, our guy there?
You want to hear his praise?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's Dan Wilson
I'm
on
just curious
how well Solano has played recently.
Yeah, Donnie's been swinging the bat very well, and has looked sharp at first. A nice diving stop today. It's good to see his bat coming, and it's like we talked about. Crochet is a tough at bat, and able to hit a solid single to left against him, with his veteran presence around, and he knows how to hit, it's good to see him coming.
Well, I'll tell you what. Based on the texts that we've gotten when we first brought this up, that people would be the most pissed if it wasn't Solano.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody wants to see. But he's right. I mean, and you go back and look at those numbers. Remember when we did the whole bullish, bearish thing, and I was bullish on him, but just because, well, he was like 178 at that point. What'd you say he's up to now? 198, something like
198.
That? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
It's on fire.
Recently, yeah. He's quote, on fire.
Yeah.
Sort of on fire. But, yeah, I mean, I think that's the one that, I don't know, I see value in those 2 guys. And, again, I've come to appreciate Tellez much more. But, Yeah, it just seems like that is the one that would make the most sense. But you don't know what they're going to do. Maybe he's figuring it out right now, Solano, that is, and then. I know he's good in the clubhouse. Everybody loves him. I know, Perry Hill loves him. So yeah,
I just feel like if they hypothetically they get rid of Solano, they keep Canzone up.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to work it with him and Tellez, or him and Raley? Excuse me.
Yeah,
because Raley plays right field and he plays first base, but he's not a great first baseman, and he said he's more comfortable in the outfield.
Canzone.
No.
Raley.
Raley.
Yeah. So
where does Canzone then play?
Yeah.
I mean, his opportunities, I would assume, would become limited. I'm just trying to make the case for why they might choose to keep Solano and send Canzone down, because if they get rid of Solano and this is not because I think he's this huge addition, but I'm just trying to think from a practical standpoint. All right, you keep Canzone, you get rid of Solano. You bring Raley back. Raley's your right fielder / sometimes first baseman, but I'm not sure how often they'd put him at first base. He's a lefty. He's a power lefty, as is Tellez.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be a pinch hit type of thing. Canzone is your right fielder, and where else? He could play left field to give Randy a day off, I guess, here and there, but he doesn't really have a spot. Maybe he could DH one day. You want to give Polanco a day off. You'd have to get creative with his opportunities.
Yeah.
So it just seems like the convenient thing for them is to go, all right, we got options with him. We can send him down to AAA.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they're looking at Solano going, well, what's the point?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm excited to see Luke Raley and just see what he can be. That such a bizarre injury. I remember watching that. It looked like somebody shot him almost, but. We saw him hit the dinger down in AAA Tacoma, and, I mean, he just smashed that thing. And, you look at how he finished the season last year, he really, this September was fantastic. 284, 6 doubles, 6 home runs, but he started the year pretty feeble this year. So it didn't translate over from last year, but, yeah, I mean, he's had some good streaks. So I'm excited to see Luke Raley. I feel like also he gets sort of underplayed, that like he's got a fair number of stolen bases for a guy that looks that big and looks like he's lumbering.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually covers lots of ground.
Yeah, and he hustles. I mean, I'm excited to see him get back. It wasn't, when he went down, it's unfortunate. I don't want the guy to get hurt, but at the time I remember feeling like, well, you're not taking this big producer out of your lineup. He was off to a rough start.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can find that rhythm when he gets back. I mean, he's going to be here. It's just about these other 3 guys. And it still seems to be Solano is the one everybody's shooting. You guys can text in on this, 866-979-3776. When Luke Raley comes back, who's the odd man out for you? And some keep saying Dylan Moore. That's not going to happen. It's going to be one of those 3, with Mastrobuoni being the wild card. But Dane in Bothell says, please get rid of Solano. Then I don't have to hear Dave say Donnie Barrels anymore.
Okay. Donnie Barrels. Love him. Love that nickname.
Solano's got to go. He must have compromising photos of the Mariners management. So yeah, he seems to be the odds-on favorite for most of our listeners making this choice. Meanwhile, how did the Seahawks move on so quickly from Geno Smith? John Schneider shares some behind-the-scenes info on that very thing. Coming up next, it's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
The weather's getting nice, consistently sunny and warm. That's riding weather. I love getting out on the motorcycle when the weather is nice. I look forward to this time of year, as I know a lot of you out there that ride look forward to it as well. But we all are aware of how much of a risk we take when we're out there on that bike. I almost got run off the road earlier today on my way into work. So if you're somebody that's been in a crash or perhaps been injured in a crash, I'm knocking on wood, has not happened yet, but should it happen, Don't settle for firms that say that they're motorcycle lawyers. You need to trust the ones who live it, and that's Law Tigers. They have been a part of the writing community for nearly a quarter of a century nationwide, and they are there when you need them most, 24/7, 365 days a year. Why? Because writers deserve real support, especially when you need it most. And Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they're in need. They're out there at all of the events. You've seen their tents and their vans everywhere at all these motorcycle events around the state. They're supporting all clubs, all shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. They don't get paid until you get paid. The Law Tigers, they never ride alone when you've got them with you. They are Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bump here. The Employee Pricing Plus event is on at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Get the 2025 Ram 2500 Heavy Duty for $8,000 off MSRP, subject to credit approval. Offer ends July 1st. West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of the 380 people who consider Lee Johnson their home.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us.
my wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's another podcast out there, Dave.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
NFL podcast?
3 and Out podcast with former NFL scout John Middlecoff.
He must be a defensive guy. Call it 3 and Out.
3 and Out, I guess, yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah, I did want another podcast, though, because there was a shortage. But John Schneider was on this podcast, so he's getting some good guests, and he was on there yesterday, talked about how they had to completely overhaul their original offseason plans, got into details about when they knew they might have to find an alternative to Geno Smith being their quarterback, which, again, it's still fascinates me how quickly things turned, them making an offer, them not getting a response on the offer, not even a counter. Yeah. And then the response was, we'd like to play elsewhere. But this is John on that podcast, 3 and Out, talking about when they knew they'd have to go with an alternative.
Yeah, really just preparing for, what that period of time right around the Senior Bowl and the Combine is really like a preparation for, like, what's the landscape going to look like and how quickly can we pivot? So, if things are going a certain way with the negotiation, how do we pivot? So getting everybody on the same page. So relying on Coobs for sure, like the experience he had with Sam, Kevin O'Connell, professional friend of mine. Ryan Grigson is there now too in Minnesota. Rob Brzezinski. Relying on our contacts and like the character, the leader, everybody that's coached him over the years, and then watching his progression and watching him improve.
Yeah, it's interesting, all the connections that John has with different people and different organizations. And what was the name there? Gregson, I think that he mentioned there. He was a guy that was a consultant here for a long time. Now he's with Minnesota. So, I mean, I think that conversation right there, to me, just kind of proves that, if you're a guy like John who is well connected, you trust the people that, are giving you an evaluation. And I think more than anything, look, John can look at film and figure things out. And when he gets with his offensive coordinators and coaches and everything, but it's also about just knowing people that know, like, the inside of, a guy's, how he is in the locker room, how he is with the team, things like that. And so that's a bigger part, I think, that there's a bigger part of Ryan Gregson, that was his name. That was a bigger part of what the evaluation process and everything. Like we talk about, people get pissed when you say, oh, he's a great dude, but like that's what you're looking for, honestly, and you're trusting people that you have been with before, and you trust their judgment. And it just sounds like a lot of conversations with people like that, for John.
Yeah, and let's not overstate it. People don't get pissed when you say they're great guys. It's that one texter.
Oh, it's just one guy.
It was just that one guy. So that just really egged us on to say it more often. Schneider was asked why he was so forthcoming in saying they wanted to re-sign Geno Smith.
One of the coolest things that I learned from Ted Thompson, God rest his soul, and Marty Schottenheimer, God rest his soul as well, was that how you treat players. Both those guys were like, nowadays we'll be your like 53rd player every year, worrying about making the team, really good special teams players. So how you treat, especially somebody that like never had like anywhere near the opportunity to play in the National Football League, how you treat the players with clear honesty and integrity and understanding like what they're truly going through and what the locker room is going to look like. So I think that the experience I had with Ted and Marty really helped me in terms of like, you're not always going to like what you hear, but you're going to hear the truth. And we can disagree on whatever we're discussing, but I'm not going to be sitting here trying to BS you.
So they were forthcoming in saying they wanted to re-sign Geno. They made him an offer. Again, they didn't hear anything back. There was no counter offer or, hey, we're thinking more of this neighborhood, trying to find that middle range where they could both agree. It was, we'd like to play elsewhere. Which, by the way, I've got to say, in some of the responses from fans and texters, any of the anger coming out of that whole deal has been directed at John or the Seahawks. Like, oh, they let him go. They should. I'm like, they made him an offer. They wanted him to stay. I think they go into it with the idea there's going to be a counteroffer. Like, okay, you offered, and we don't know exactly what they offered, but let's just say it was $40 million, and they said, well, we were thinking more in the $50 million range, and then you'd go back and forth, and then maybe you don't come to an agreement. But if a guy and his reps just come out flat out and say, we don't want to be here anymore, why would you be mad at the Seahawks?
Yeah.
Why would you be mad at John? I haven't seen anybody take issue with, I've seen people get mad at other players that have wanted to leave town and go elsewhere.
Sure.
I haven't really seen much of that with Geno. I'm not saying you should be mad at him. I just found it odd that anytime I've seen any sort of anger about the situation, it's been directed at the Seahawks as if they said, you know what, we don't want him anymore. Let's get him out of here and let's get Sam Darnold in. I think they pivoted to Sam Darnold because they were going to resign Geno. They made him an offer, and there was no counter.
That must be all the people that just loved Geno and texted in last year that, how much they loved him. There was no talk about interceptions and the red zone or anything like that.
No, nobody brought that up.
Yeah,
but even those that did truly love him, and there are those, I don't think you could be mad at the Seahawks unless you felt like they lowballed him to such an extent he couldn't bring himself to bring a counteroffer. His reps couldn't bring a counteroffer to the table. I don't really know. I'm not sure why you'd be mad at management over that one.
Yeah,
personally.
And I think for Geno, it wasn't so much about the money. It was about he wanted to be, in a certain place. He saw that this was going a different way. Now, they're going to bring in a different offensive coordinator, and maybe he doesn't like that offense, that style. Once he found out that they were going to bring in Kubiak. But
were you surprised there was no counter?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
I don't know.
I mean, there's no
unless it's what you just said, that he said, I don't want to play in that offense. It doesn't suit me, or I don't know. Some have implied there could have been an issue between him and DK because we're still not sure why DK said I want out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, and you could say, okay, $60 million. There's your counter.
Just be crazy.
Right. I mean, anything. So that. I don't know. It almost sounded like maybe Geno and his camp wanted to send a message. But I do know that we hear about how Pete Carroll, look, Geno, he's a Pete Carroll guy.
Well, and they'd been talking throughout the season,
right?
So maybe that was already in his head at the end of the year.
Yeah, during the offseason and also during the season, also it sounded like that they were having conversations. He also likes Chip Kelly. So, and I can't remember what the connection was with Geno Smith and Chip Kelly, but at some point along his career, those two, he likes him too. So I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, and him not countering, I would say it's uncool. I'm just like, well, why not? That just didn't make any sense to me. But I mean, I think everybody got to where they want to be. There were so many people texting in about how bad Geno sucks last year. I mean, and then same thing with DK Metcalf. So, I don't know. And now all of a sudden you're hearing, I guess, from the people that are disgruntled or that they're not here. So, kind of confusing in that way. But yeah, I kind of had an indication that I thought DK was going to want to go somewhere else, but I wasn't quite sure about Geno. And come to find out, he's had such a great relationship with Pete, and he's definitely a Pete Carroll kind of guy. Geno is kind of a guy that you resurrect him and his career, kind of like Darnold, that it was started off not great, and then last few years really he's been good.
Yeah, he's been a solid quarterback, and maybe those conversations throughout the season carried a much more weight than we gave credit. He could have had his mind made up, like, what, I don't care unless the Seahawks make an outrageous offer. Yeah, I want to go, and I want to go to Vegas.
Right.
Maybe that was in his mind throughout the season. Who knows? It could have been a lot of things altogether, but just the idea that there wasn't even a counteroffer.
And just business-wise, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. All right, coming up, one NBA analyst has terrible advice for the Pacers tonight. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Hey, have you been considering surgery or even joint replacement? It's Dave Wyman here, and after years of football, I know all about bad knees. So I recently had a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I've heard so many patients just rave about stem cell therapy with Dr. Wagner. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone. Well, they're back hiking, jogging, playing tennis, even just going up and down the stairs, playing with the kids and grandkids, and doing it without pain and without surgery. Dr. Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, which can regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. Dr. Mark Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience. And get this, he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. And he's one of the few doing it the right way. So whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. Zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, two-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Well, let's just keep going with that 3 and Out podcast. John Schneider also went in depth about being open-minded to hiring a defensive head coach. I guess, he's an offensive guy. He wanted to think along those lines initially. And then the process of actually trying to land interviews with both Mike Macdonald and Ben Johnson during the playoffs.
I think, you're going into something like that, you're extremely open-minded. My background, let's say, you lean towards the offensive coach, the stability with the quarterback. And that's legit. Mike McCarthy's one of my closest friends in the industry. And, we were part of that hiring process with Ted Thompson in Green Bay. So I felt like I had a pretty good feel for where we were headed. But once we were able to speak to Mike, the guys, Chad Brinker in Tennessee, Dan Morgan in Carolina, Rich McKay in Atlanta, they had all interviewed him. And so I had a very close relationship with all those guys. And they're like, man, your personalities would be great. He was amazing in the interview. I can't remember the Atlanta situation. They hired Raheem pretty quick. There was a couple days where guys got hired pretty quick. Because basically it was going to come down to that championship weekend. I remember basically, this is so bad, but I remember going to church basically praying on I really hope Detroit loses, and I hope Baltimore loses today, the championship weekend, and they both did. I was like, oh, now I got to go talk to these guys and tell them I was hoping they lost.
He was praying for them to lose.
That's right. Yeah, you talked about Mike Macdonald and the connection just instantly, and somebody was telling him, you guys would be a good fit together. Remember when we were interviewing him, and they said some joke, and then they became the high-fiving white guys?
I do remember.
Yeah. And I was like, what the hell just happened here?
They entertained themselves. Nobody else got the joke but those two. They were very pleased with themselves.
They were. Yeah, but it's interesting how John mentions Green Bay a lot, like his experiences there. Ted Thompson in particular is a guy that he talks about all the time. So
obviously helped form who John is, a huge influence. So
can you imagine? I mean, he was probably like 21, 22 years old, just a little intern,
just a young John Schneider running around going, hey, what can I do around here?
I sent him a picture the other day of they have through the years at the Seahawks website, and it'll be John Schneider or whatever. It's a different one, and there's a picture of him when he first got here, and I'm like, you look like Jack, his son, who was at Boise State now. That was a long time ago. Yeah, and he was like,
is that a nice way of saying he looks old?
Yeah, pretty much. And then he's like, where did you get that picture? I'm like, it was on Seahawks.com.
Yeah,
it's
your
not like
website.
I pulled it out of my wallet or anything.
Sweeping the dial.
Well, I just asked Brady because I thought it was about the same age. You just described, Bob, what Brady was like when he first started under Matt's tutelage. And he was bothering Matt Nelson. Hey, what's that button do? And Matt's,
But that was for pleasure.
here?
No, and I was paid to do it.
How hard was that with Matt, who just doesn't want to talk to anybody, pretty much, and you're trying to get information out of him, and he's probably like, shut up.
Well, let me preface it like this. He was training me for Mariners, so it was my arena, and I'm just talking about the pitch selection from the pitcher during the game.
What a nightmare
and
for
saying,
Matt.
I don't know why you did this in this situation, and then Matt's just looking at me, wondering if he can get away with killing me and not having like an HR problem.
I know we're supposed to do Sweeping the Dial right now, but I remember
We'll
when
get to it,
Mike was training you.
Oh,
and
boy. Where are we going with this?
This was like 3 years ago, and I remember, you said Mike was like, okay, so we're going to put Rashad Penny in here, and then all of a sudden you started quoting Rashad Penny's stats and this and that, just like a young guy would do, and Mike's like looking at you, and he's like, anyways, so what you want to do here is...
No, I get that look of disappointment from many people. It's not something I'm unused to.
That was Lefko's way of saying, don't care about any of that. What you want to do next is...
Shut your mouth, kid.
You don't
Okay,
care
a little
if you
bit.
know sports. Can you operate the system?
Yeah.
I just love that he was trying to dazzle Matt with all these different takes on pitch selection.
Yeah, and Matt doesn't.
Matt's going,
I learned real quick that he was not interested.
Now he mocks him. Hey, Bob, did you know Brady likes baseball? Did you know he played? Has he ever talked about it?
All right. Well, before I derailed us, so Adam Schefter was kind of giving a description of what it's like now between Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals, that they're talking and trying to find something, but doesn't necessarily mean that they're close to getting a deal done.
Talking is different than making progress. And in this particular case, they are talking, but it's hard to tell how much progress, if any, they're actually making so far. I think there's a disagreement on the length of the contract. The Bengals would like Trey Hendrickson to sign a short-term deal. Hendrickson would like some long-term security and the money that comes along with it. And so before you can figure out value, I think first you have to agree on the years, and the two sides have been unable to do that. So yes, they're talking. No, they're not making a lot of progress, but there's a lot of time between now and the start of training camp.
Do they get it done? Is he going to be playing for the Bengals?
I would think so, but I mean, if I'm Trey Hendrickson, I want a short-term deal with the Bengals. That's a clown show there. That was so ridiculous. You brought this up the other day, and I don't know if it was the team president or the GM that was like, I think he should be happy with the money that he has. And, we paid him a lot of money over the years. Well, guess what? He's one of the most productive defensive players in the league. So for Trey Hendrickson, just for his sake, I want him out of there.
Where would you want to see him? Seahawks?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea if he would fit in here. I mean, we've got pretty good edge rushers, and
we don't have a 17.5 sack guy.
No,
this team.
That's good, man.
Yeah, I don't. Cincinnati's weird because their Reds president or whatever had that quote a couple of years ago. Be careful what you wish for, when fans were getting upset with the Reds, and basically that's the attitude. Like, just be happy with what you have out here.
Yeah.
That's a weird position.
Yeah. What do they have in Cincinnati that's so great? That Mile High chili or whatever.
Skyline chili.
Skyline.
Grater's ice cream. That's it.
Grater's.
So you can eat your sorrows about your terrible sports teams and ownership groups.
Mile High chili.
That was close.
Sweeping the dial.
I guess that would be in Denver.
Yeah.
You'd think so, yeah.
A Denver chili.
So Kendrick Perkins says that tonight, in an elimination game for the Pacers, now let's keep in mind he did play for the Thunder, so maybe this is why, but Kendrick Perkins says that Tyrese Halliburton should sit out if his calf isn't 100%.
But I'm going to give him some advice early. If they saying it's a calf strain, sit out. Same advice I gave to Kevin Durant my first year working at ESPN and covering the finals. You remember that, Wendy?
I do, very clearly.
Bob Myers was the GM.
Sadly.
Bob was actually mad at me for that because I told him, forget what the franchise is telling you, sit out. And then what happened a few games later when Kevin Durant came back?
You were saying it that day.
That day, he tore his Achilles, and that's how severe it is. So I would rather him, his health is more important, but you can't go out there in the NBA Finals against this Oklahoma City Thunder team and if you're not 100% or even close to 100% because them killers are weak.
To me, I mean, I like Halliburton's response. He's like, it's the NBA Finals, man. He said, I've worked my whole life to get here. It was not really a thought of mine to not play if I can. If I can walk, then I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I mean, I guess Kendrick Perkins basically is saying, don't sacrifice your body or whatever, but I mean, it's a strained calf. It's not like you're playing on a torn ACL or something.
Well, he's making it sound like it's going to lead to popping his Achilles tendon, which if the team doctor is saying that, all right, that's a different thing, because then you're talking about a long recovery, impacts your team next season. All right, maybe you're going to adhere to his advice, but if Perk is just saying, well, I've seen this before, I'd sit out. Well, no, I'll trust the medical professionals, the guys that have the degrees up on the wall. I'll defer to them, and if they tell me, no, you're fine, it'll hurt, but you don't run more of a risk of popping your Achilles than you otherwise would.
Maybe get some outside, maybe not the team doctor's advice on that one. But I mean,
you think
for
the team
him,
doctor's going to go, you're fine, play.
Yeah, let's go get him. I get a bonus. No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be tough. I think Oklahoma City is like 6.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
What's going to happen, Lefko? Your beloved Indiana Pacers that you won't shut up about. You love them. You always talk about them.
They're Seattle's team, so
they are.
They are.
They're going to pull it off?
Yeah. Let's do it. Why not?
Game 7?
They've been very tough to beat at home. They've been, until Game 5, they had been so resilient. They hadn't lost 2 games in a row, the whole playoffs. So
they're going to win without Halliburton?
He'll play.
If he were to not play, if he were to follow Dr. Perkins' advice?
Yeah. Without him, I don't think they win. So
Yeah, was he 18 points a game? I think.
know. I'm not that big of a Pacers fan.
Yeah. But
Dave's bigger Pacers fan than I am.
I think it'll be interesting to watch that game, see how he does. But if all of a sudden he's running down the court and bang.
Yeah, you see him go down, grabbing his ankle. We're going, Dr. Perkins. Yeah. Calling Dr. Perkins. All right, it's another edition of the Raleigh Show, and it's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
It's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
you're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with Xfi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Church's Chicken is bringing even more flavor to the neighborhood with our Bremerton location, and we can't wait to share what we've been cooking up. So stop by and try our bold, juicy, flavor-to-the-bone fried chicken with all our only at Church's Fixins. Yeah, your newest fave is waiting with unbeatable deals and unmistakable crunch right here at the Church's Chicken in Bremerton on 4000 Wheaton Way. That's right. Come on down. Friends, family, and neighbors welcomed at 4000 Wheaton Way in Bremerton. See you soon. Church's.
Bum here, letting you know the Employee Pricing Plus event is on at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. The 2025 Ram 2500 Heavy Duty is a beast with class-leading torque and towing. But don't sleep on the upgraded wheels, grille, LED lighting, and that sound system. On sale now for $8,000 off MSRP. Subject to credit approval, offer ends July 1st. West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it!
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners have the day off today after dropping the series to the Boston Red Sox here at T-Mobile. They dropped the finale 3-1, so they get the day off. Fly to Chicago to take on the first-place Chicago Cubs, which you'll catch that game tomorrow, 11:20 first pitch from Chicago right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, game is going on right now. Cardinals and White Sox tied at 6 apiece, headed to the bottom of the 8th. That's game 2 of their doubleheader. Pirates up 4-2 on the Tigers in game 2 of their doubleheader. Both of these are makeup games from games that were postponed due to weather. That one in the top of the 7th. Headed to the top of the 7th in Miami. Marlins out to a 1-0 lead over the Phillies. Bottom of the 3rd, and in Atlanta, the Mets up 1-0 on the Braves. The Orioles and Rays are scoreless in the top of the 2nd. Still to come, Astros and A's, Padres and Dodgers. Finals from earlier today. Twins beat the Reds 12-5. Yankees over the Angels 7-3. Rockies unable to secure the 4-game sweep of the Nationals. Nationals come through in the 11th inning to avoid that 4-game sweep. They beat the Rockies 4-3. Tigers over the Pirates 9-2 in game 1 of the doubleheader. Game 1 of the doubleheader between the Cardinals and White Sox. Cards win 5-4. Brewers take out the Cubs 8-7. Royals over the Rangers 4-1. Blue Jays fall to the Diamondbacks 9-5, and the Giants take out the Guardians 2-1.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
from the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, we've been talking a lot about a Mariners offense that's been a bit anemic, to say the very least. They score 1 run in 2 games that they lose to the Boston Red Sox here at home. They've had very inconsistent production throughout the season, but the one constant has been Cal Raleigh, who's on an MVP tear, who's just putting on a show this year, and we've been fortunate to have the Cal Raleigh Show each and every Thursday here with Wyman and Bob, hosted by our Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer. Here is the latest edition.
Wyman pitch to Cal, swinging a drive, way out of here to right field. Cal Raleigh with a home run.
He's the best catcher in baseball, and he's on Seattle Sports Thursday afternoons all season long on Wyman and Bob. It's the Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
With Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
Well, Cal, this week, great to see Logan Gilbert back out there. And one of the things that just, you kind of miss when he's out there is just, he's a totally different person out on the mound. And he's talked about Walter. And I'm kind of interested in the evolution of Walter. And when you first kind of saw it and kind of realized, okay, I'm sure it's different for all pitchers when they're on the mound, but Logan's got kind of a different approach to it.
Yeah, I think that all started back in college. So I guess that's his team. They all did that with him, and the whole Walter thing started. And then obviously got to pro ball, and you saw it when he started pitching. So yeah, very intense, very not a lot of funny business, on game days. Wants to get after somebody. You can tell he's in the zone, and it's kind of how he approaches it. And some guys are like that, some guys aren't like that. So you learn that there's different personalities, there's different kind of ways to go about it, and he definitely errs on that side, more Kobe Bryant type.
What's it like the first time you catch a guy, because you've seen them but you don't know until they get out there? Has somebody really surprised you before?
Yeah, I think it's surprising with Logan just because he's so quiet, doesn't say a lot, very, goofy, very just, and so I think that's always surprising. And yeah, you just don't know. You don't, like I said, like Trent Thornton's another one who, when he gets on the mound, he's nothing like who he is, in the clubhouse. And that's just how it is, especially with pitchers. Some guys just, they need to be able to get in that zone, and some guys they need to feel, like it's normal, like they're themselves. So it's just different for every single guy, and I'd say those are 2 guys definitely that were surprising.
Is the Walter you see the same Walter now as it was when you first saw him in the minor leagues, or has he kind of evolved a little bit?
No, he's definitely evolved, just in the sense of he's, I think he was a lot more headstrong back then on everything, and a little more, I don't know if discipline's the word, but he didn't like to change, who he was, and now, he understands that it's baseball and he has to do certain things, and he's evolved into, a really good pitcher and a really good, baseball mind. So it's good to see.
Do position players don't do that, do they? You don't kind of go to a different place?
No, I don't know. It's like, you do. You check in with yourself and you lock in at 7 o'clock, and I think throughout the day it's a slow build, right? You get, 6 hours from game time, you're obviously still pretty loose yourself. 3 hours, you check in, hour check in, like things like that. So I don't think it's as, maybe apparent as some of the pitchers, just because when you're a pitcher, you got that day and that time, and that's it. And that's sometimes it's once a week. So for a position player, it's every single day for 8 months, 9 months straight. So it's like, it's hard to have that every single time, in the sense of, being that crazy and that, crazy kind of focus, laser focus, you're obviously focused on the field, but it's a much different approach.
You've mentioned checking in with yourself throughout the day and whatnot a few times. How do you do that? Is that just, do you ask yourself a question? What do you do?
It's different with every guy. I think for me, it's just, it starts on the way to the field, check in with yourself a little bit. I think the big mistake some guys make is they try to lock in for too long and too early, and that's just how you burn yourself out. So, like I said, it's a slow build, and I'd say about when it gets to be about an hour before game time, that's when you're not as chit-chatty anymore. You're starting to lock it in. You're starting to focus on the task at hand, and then obviously it's a build up into the game, and basically just you're mentally checking in with yourself, trying to get yourself ready, prepared, make sure that you're ready for everything you need to do that night. And everybody has their checklist, and it's going to be different. And, some guys is shorter, some guys is longer. So,
How did yours start big and you edited, or has it grown over time?
I'd say it's grown a little bit, just in the sense of because catching and the duties. So you're not just worried about, all right, my swing tonight. It's pitcher, game plan. Guys who are running, guys who don't like to run, dirt ball reads. And then obviously you take the hitting into it as well, and things like that. So it's a little bit more, just because obviously catchers, it comes with position. So, but yeah, you try to condense it, and you separate and compartmentalize the two, offense and defense. So.
What about checking out? How long does it take to kind of come down after a game from that?
It's hard. I have a hard time, after games. I like to just take it easy, and I like to relax, and just obviously every post game is different depending on what I need to do in the training room or weight room. But most of the time I like to just relax a little bit, maybe get in the tubs. I have a hard time eating afterwards, so I just have to wait to eat typically, just because you're still in that mode, that game mode, and just taking a deep breath in the locker. And it takes a little while, it's not like you just go home and you fall asleep right away. It's like your mind's still racing everywhere. You're thinking about what could I have done in this situation, or you're always thinking in those kind of terms.
What about Logan? I remember, I think after the first couple of years we talked to him after games, he would still be there in the Walter, but it looks like he's not anymore. He looks like he's kind of learned to drop his super intensity.
Yeah, I mean, you learn over time, things that are going to help and things that are going to hurt, and you have to understand it's also a part of being a professional. So, he understands who he needs to be, and yeah, I think he's learned over time. He doesn't have to be, locked in, ready to go at 1 o'clock on start day, or the whole day. He's himself, and then he has a schedule, and he knows his times, and he knows when it's go time, when it's not. And it's important for a lot of guys to know, when they have to check in and get into that zone kind of.
It's interesting because I know that there's also kind of a pump up before the game sometimes, so it's like this throughout the day, or not throughout the day, but
yeah, you want to try to just make it a slow, a slow, gradual incline, get into the game. Not getting too up, not getting too down. It's different for everybody, and like I said, some people it's a little more calming. Some people need a little more, fire. It's it's different for everybody, and everybody kind of learns, as you grow in the game, like what you need and what and when you need it.
It's very unique.
It is
very unique. Hey, let's talk about some topics that are going around baseball right now. I've kind of been seeing quite a bit about things that can impact hitters, and one has been, and they say it kind of, I don't think the strike zone it wasn't an intentional change, but there was a change with the umpire evaluations, and that has impacted the strike zone, and it's something that's been discovered of late. What are you seeing with that?
Yeah, I mean, they just, there was a buffer zone for umpires, and it was about, I can't remember the exact number, maybe 2 inches off and 2 inches in, buffer zone of, all right, that's, if you're in this zone, it's okay. You know, if you miss, if you don't miss, kind of just like this is a good baseline. And then they lowered it this year. I want to say maybe to 0.75 inches in and out of the strike zone, and it's obviously a huge drastic change. And so you've seen a lot more balls this year, I think, just in general. You know, umpires aren't calling as many strikes. They're trying to stay, you know, locked in, and they're trying to just, you know, trying to be almost perfect with that strike zone. And it's hard, you know, especially when you got different, you know, hitters, different sizes of people coming up to the plate, and you know, you've had a zone and 2-inch buffer for years, and now you're having to learn this on the fly. It's really hard, and yeah, they didn't. I think the big issue is just, you know, MLB didn't tell any of the players that this was going on, and and you know, we were not aware, and that was the issue. I think you've seen a lot. You saw the articles come out, and there's just no communication on their end about that, so that was a little frustrating at first.
Was that a thing that you were kind of seeing it, kind of saying, is this happening? Is this changed, or was it something? How did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were back when we were in San Francisco. I was just really confused about what was going on, because I'm like, I just didn't understand. I was like, there's like, these umpires are really, really tight. And I know, and I always typically early in the year, to me, since I've been in the big leagues, umpires are a little tighter earlier, just because coming off spring training and, you know, just, you know, that first start of the season, you know, everybody's trying to be perfect. Everybody's, you know, tightening up their zone. And then as the season goes on, you start to learn, you know, more guys are giving more strikes. And so, but I ended up talking to some guys, Patrick Bailey and Hedges and Trevino from the Reds. And I'm like, hey, you guys seeing the same thing I'm seeing? Just because, like, we don't, they were all in agreement, like, we don't know what's going on. It's crazy. You know, it's just, you know, you could see it plain as day. They just weren't calling, you know, as many strikes, and the zones were super, super tight. So it was very eye-opening.
So what do you do after that? You understand what it is now. I mean, how does that impact you as a hitter? How does that impact you as a catcher?
You know, it's not been a crazy big impact. Just, like I said, just been a little tighter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, you know, a few more as a hitter, probably going to go your way. But, you know, there's still some strikes that are being called balls, and some balls that are being called strikes. So it's not crazy different, just a little more leaning towards, all right, umpires are going to lean a little more ball than they're a little more strikes, because they don't want to be wrong with that buffer zone. They don't want to get docked or, you know, whatever it is. You know, they want to be rated as high as they can and be the best that they can at their, you know, position. So I'd say that's the big really difference. They'll still think they do a great job, and you know, it's tough back there when guys are throwing that hard with that much movement.
Yeah, when you look at the percentages, it is tough. It's just the ones that really hurt are the ones that get the spotlight, and that kind of brings us to, where are you on implementation of robo-umps? Could you see I mean, how would you feel about it if we saw what we saw in spring training, if that was instituted full-time?
Yeah, I think my whole thing on the issue is, you know, strikes have to be strikes. I think that's my biggest thing. And this year, seeing a lot of strikes being balled, and even that are pitches that aren't even on the edge, they're just fully in the zone being balled. It's like, you know, it is, you know, obviously the pitcher's always at the advantage, but they're also throwing it over a small little, you know, basically box. And they, you know, they should be, when it's over the plate, it should be a strike. So, you know, to me, I've never been a fan of the robo-umps. Personally, I definitely don't think it should ever be a full-time thing, but it's challenging. But, you know, it could be something that could be beneficial if they're going to shrink the buffer zone this small, and they're going to, you know, change it like that. Then we might need to have that in. So, but a full-time robo-ump would never be good for anybody, I don't think. I think you definitely don't want that.
Yeah, you like the human element in the game.
I like the human element. I mean, if it's up to me, I would do no challenge system.
None.
At all.
Okay.
But
even though you were almost perfect in challenges this spring.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it makes it fun. You know, it's like, you know, guys like seeing umpires like seeing, or fans like seeing umpires throw out managers and players, and it's part of the game. Like, it's, you know, it's just one of those things. It's baseball, and, you know, you want to keep some of that baseball part of it.
Are you thinking that when you're at the plate and you get a bad call and you're stepping back, muttering to yourself and perhaps to the umpire?
Yeah, maybe not at that time, but that's just how it goes. I mean, baseball is baseball. You like to think that they maybe even out, and maybe a strike was balled and a ball was striked. You know, I like to think it evens out, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Probably. There are baseball gods, after all. You do believe in the baseball gods, don't you?
There are, yes.
Okay. Is there any, like, is there a special way to not anger them?
Yes, there's lots of ways. You never take the game for granted. You never think you're bigger than the game, and you never ever call anybody out on the opposing teams in the sense of, you know, saying this guy stinks, this guy can't hit, this guy can't pitch. You ever do it, and you never say it out loud, because next thing you know, they hit a home run or they throw a CG, and you're walking back. You're like, why did I even say anything?
It's your fault.
Yep.
Have you ever lost a game like that for them?
There's been plenty of times where somebody said something they shouldn't have said, and that one person they said it about ends up winning them the game, or has 4 hits, or whatever it may be. It's crazy how often that happens.
It's very real.
Yeah.
We'll do the superstition show another time.
Yeah.
Okay. Cal, thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. There's the Cal Raleigh Show, the latest installment with our Mariners insider Shannon Dreher. If you guys just tuned in, didn't catch all of that, you'll be able to find it after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture, click on that, and it'll be right there waiting for you, as it is each and every night after the show. The Cal Raleigh Show is presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. So there you go. The latest from your resident all-star.
Yeah.
The only surefire all-star, I would say, on this team. Outside of pitch, I don't know what.
Other than selecting
we don't vote on
Munoz.
We don't vote on that.
As Dave Valley would say.
What's
Munoz?
Munoz.
I'm assuming that he's doing it the right way, saying it the right way. Yeah, it was interesting. 162 games, and Cal, he doesn't miss many days, right? And he was talking about coming down afterwards, after a game, he can't eat. And I am still like that. Like, even just being up in the broadcast booth, and you know who's with me on this is Ray Roberts. We will text each other after a game at like 3 a.m. I cannot sleep. Cannot sleep.
Why? Because you're so excited about what you just watched?
I'm so fired up. Yeah, and it's still like,
what if
game
they
day.
lost? And it's just like, ugh, it was just not a good game.
There's always something. No, I still the same way. And so for him, that many times he says he can't eat afterwards and can't sleep, and yeah. So, but if it's 3 o'clock on a Sunday or Monday morning, I guess, and I want to text somebody about the game, I text Ray.
Because really? He's up.
He's up.
I thought I was the only one up.
Yeah. Yeah. But, it was kind of interesting to hear his thoughts on the robo-umps. It sounds like, I guess, I always say I like to complain about strikes and balls and the whole thing. And so I would never want the robo-ump, and it sounds like he wouldn't either. He kind of likes, and I think people like the drama. Right? I mean, you love...
I don't.
You kind of love to hate C.B. Buckner, right?
No. I just prefer not to have to deal with him.
Yeah.
I prefer that power be taken from him, which is what ABS would do.
Yeah, but it's something that, to talk about around the game, and that's kind of the way.
Yeah, I can find other things.
Cal was with that. So
I get it from a catcher's perspective, the art of framing and all that. Yeah. That's going to go out the window.
He didn't really bring that up, but that's a huge part of his game.
It's a huge part, and he's very good at it. Even when he is really good at it. And sometimes he doesn't need to frame a pitch. It's right there, and it doesn't get the call. And you're like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
And you've seen it cost teams. You've seen it cost the Mariners. All of a sudden, a guy that should have been struck out comes up with a base hit, drives in a run, inning should have been over. So it can be very punitive. It can be very punitive when they're not getting it right, and when they're consistently not getting it right. So, yeah, I don't enjoy complaining about the umps enough to want that to be the same. If they have the ability and the technology to get it right, bring it in.
Do you want the robo-ump then?
Yes, I do. And nobody loses a job. The umps don't lose their job. It's just that responsibility is taken off their plate. They're still making the plays at home. They got to make that call. The fair foul was tipped. Was it this? Catcher's interference. All of that is still there. It's just balls and strikes. Yeah. Let's have some uniformity to it so every pitcher and hitter knows what they're working with. And it's not, well, this guy's giving them 3 inches off the plate outside, or it is 3 inches up or down, or everybody's got a different strike zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't take the same amount of joy as you do complaining about those things.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
you like it.
Like he said, it's like baseball. It's part of the drama. Cal said the same thing. I don't know. And especially for him, that's got to be incredibly frustrating. He loves his guys, right? He loves his rotation, and guy throws a just awesome pitch and gets screwed. I mean, you're going to get pissed.
Yeah. See, it's going to be better for his blood pressure. It's going to take a lot of heat off of everybody.
Maybe he can go to sleep at night.
He might be able to sleep. There's that, too. What does this Mariners offense need in order to get back in the playoff race? We'll get into that conversation coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
4 down territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's something completely overblown at OTAs?
Interceptions. So when an interception is thrown, all people see is the end result. I don't think they realize that could have been a free play. He's tossing it up, or he's told just to throw the football so the defense gets a look. Kobe Bryant was over the top. Boom, he gets an interception. It can be deceiving at times.
4 down territory every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Look outside. That is riding weather. Nice, warm, no rain. I love it. I love it. And I know a lot of my fellow riders out there look forward to this time of year, but it comes with some risk, as I experienced this morning on my way into work. Somebody just changing lanes without any idea I was next to him. It happens a lot. To this point, I have not been involved in an accident, but you just don't know when it's going to happen. And if you are somebody that has been involved in an accident, you've been injured, well, there are people you want to talk to. You've got people that are there to settle the situation for you, and you shouldn't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who actually live it. I'm talking about Law Tigers. They've been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide, and they're there 24/7, 365 days a year, because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they're in need. And Law Tigers, you see them out at all of the events. You see the tents, you see the vans out there. They support all clubs, all shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation, completely free. They don't get paid until you get paid. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Since time immemorial, the Puyallup tribe of Indians have lived on what is now called Puget Sound. The Puyallup tribe is a sovereign nation of more than 6,000 members and one of the largest employers in Pierce County. Today, the Puyallup tribe continues to serve its members and community with generosity and is committed to building a sustainable way of life for future generations. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. Jet City Harley sign and ride event. No cash down needed. Rates as low as 1.49% APR on select Harleys. Save thousands on interest at Jet City Harley Davidson. On approved credit on new 2024 Lowrider ST, Lowrider S, or Road Glide 3 models. See dealer for details.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Arm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailarm.com today.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 62225. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there at 866-979-3776. Taking a look at this Mariners offense and the help that it needs. They have the day off today. They'll head to Chicago, or they're in Chicago, set to face the Cubs starting tomorrow. We're going to see if Luke Raley is there with the team, if he's activated, and in turn, what is going to be the roster move that they make. Do they send Dom Canzone back down to AAA? Do they release Rowdy Tellez? Do they release Donovan Solano? The wild card, I guess, could be Mastroboni. We'll see what that move's going to be. But taking a look at some of these lists of trade candidates that are out there, some interesting names, some of which we've talked about with different people and have been brought up by different people. There are a lot of pitchers that are available. But as far as offensive help that the Mariners could find out there, Josh Naylor seems to be a popular name. Mm-hmm. That's a bat I wouldn't mind having.
Yep.
What's going to be the asking price? I don't know. MLB.com did a little piece, and they said, talked about Arizona climbing back in the playoff race, but Naylor is one of more than a half a dozen impending free agents on the roster. And given that a number of teams could use a big corner infield bat, it's possible Arizona could move Naylor, and then they put in parentheses, or Geno Suarez and his expiring contract to address other needs. So he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. They put best potential fits: Giants, Mariners, Rangers, Red Sox.
For Naylor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've also heard, that Geno Suarez could be one of those guys, which would be, I would love to see him back. I know, wouldn't that just kind of irritate you on some level that they let him go in the first place, and then you had to turn around and rather than just pay him what he was under contract to be paid, you had to reacquire him with presumably prospects that you don't really want to get rid of, and he'll be a free agent at the end of the year.
Right.
That one I'd love to see Geno back. Just that's the bottom line. It'd be great to have him in this lineup. Great to have that defense, even though Ben Williamson has played tremendous defense at third. Just to have that pop. I think he's got 22 home runs on the season.
And I think Ben has one.
He's got one.
Yeah.
But wouldn't there be a part of that would irritate you that they let him go for, by all accounts, they wanted to dump his salary, and then you have to go back and reacquire him and give up prospects when you already had him?
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, just the end result is that you get Geno back, and man, what a good piece to have. And I mean, he's going to get his strikeouts.
Yeah,
but
and I don't know if they would do that or not.
Yeah.
Naylor seems to be the name that is being attached to the Mariners as a possibility. Another one I've seen. I'm out on Luis Robert Jr. I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know why all of a sudden he's not good.
I think also he is pretty much exclusively a center fielder, right?
I don't know. Do they have him playing in different spots? I'd have to look.
I remember last year at that time, that was one of the things that
he's hitting a $192.
Wow.
192 with a 275 on base. He's got 6 home runs, 28 runs driven in.
On the White Sox, definitely
he's
are
27.
Sellers, right? They're sellers. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The one we were talking about earlier, O'Hearn, that's the one that makes the most sense, which is why I think they won't do that. But I don't know. We talked about this yesterday, and I know that was a sound bite that was running on our station about people being particular about the prospects.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, I entirely believe that that's what they're there for. They're there to help you, whether it's bring them up, which a lot of these guys are a long ways away from being brought up, or trade them away for a proven commodity. We talk about that all the time in the NFL as well. It's like these guys can play. The guys coming in, I mean, if you're a first, second rounder, it's pretty high hit rate, but for the most part, you don't know. Look at LJ Collier.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
who could have seen that coming?
Just don't work out. So yeah, I'm fine with that part of it, but I don't think that people are that attached. Maybe Harry Ford, because he is, he's been talked about quite a bit, but if it was some of these other prospects, I mean, just give us the help now. The pitching is coming together health-wise, and Cal needs some help. Hopefully Julio becomes more of a power hitter, and yeah,
Rosarena, hopefully he steps up.
Yeah, he should be on that list.
By the way, looking at Robert, he's not played anywhere other than center field and DH.
Yeah.
That's all he's done in his career. So, yeah, he's not going to play center field here. Again, I'm looking at his numbers. I don't know what's happened to him. I mean, he had a bad year last year, played 100 games, 14 home runs, 35 runs driven in, hit 224, 278. This year, he's off to a worse start. I mean, this is a guy who had 38 home runs in 2023. 38 home runs, drove in 80, hit 264, 315 on base.
I remember there was a couple of times where we were playing the White Sox, and you saw him and his teammates, and he just, the way he interacted with the other outfielders, just kind of was like, it looks like he has an attitude problem a little
maybe
bit.
I don't know. Maybe it changed the scenery. Maybe he doesn't want to be there anymore, and he would flourish somewhere else. But I wouldn't give up much of anything to get him. I mean, he's loaded with potential. You've seen him do very well. He's a good defensive player, and he's obviously a guy who's got pop. But he's hit double-digit home runs every year of his career, even in his first year was the pandemic year, 60 games. He played 56 games, hit 11 home runs, drove in 31. So that's 56 games. He's played 66 this year. He's got 6 home runs.
Yeah.
And he's hitting a $192. So yeah, I'm out on Luis Robert Jr. I don't know what's gone on there.
Yeah. Well, especially he's exclusive. I mean, you're bringing him in as a DH, right? I mean, he's not going to, unless you can work him in at the, left or right field. But yeah, I don't know about that guy. The one, they keep talking about is O'Hearn. Although, maybe Josh Naylor as well. They've done deals with the Arizona Diamondbacks before. So I don't know where, Baltimore is. They think they're still in it or what. But yeah, that was a big surprise this year. Maybe the biggest surprise in baseball that the Baltimore started off the way they did.
Yeah, they're a huge surprise. They've been brutal. Nobody saw that coming because they're such a young team. You know, look, their core is in place. I mean, they're sitting there at 31-42 right now.
Yeah.
You know, this is a team that's, you know, last year, what did they finish with? They get 91-71 last year. They're a playoff team. Year before that, in 2023, they won the division, 101-61 the year before. So, yeah, this has been a good team for a couple of years. They looked like they were going to be nothing but better, and they have completely fallen apart. Fire their manager. It's just, gone the wrong direction. But are they going to blow it up? I don't see that. But, yeah, maybe they do get rid of some expiring contracts, which is where the Mariners would step in. So we'll see what the price tag is. That's always the interesting thing with somebody that it's a rental player. You get them for a couple of months.
Right.
And beyond that, you've got no certainty whatsoever. So how much are you willing to give up in order to get that? And is it going to be enough? Is that player going to be enough to get you to the postseason? Because that's the goal. It'd be a shame to trade a bunch of your prospects, bring in a bat, and you still miss the playoffs.
Well, do they make the playoffs? I'm just going to assume that the pitching is going to continue to get healthier and healthier. But let's say you get a guy like Ryan O'Hearn, but Julio continues at the pace that he continues right now. Is that enough? I mean, I
don't think so.
Any scenario where they go to the playoffs,
Julio's got to pick up the pace.
Yeah.
Rosaranda's got to pick up the pace.
Yeah.
Both of those guys need more than just two guys. You need Cal and Julio and Randy, JP doing what he's doing. You need more contribution. So it's not just Julio. He's the biggest focus.
Yeah.
He's the biggest focal point, I get. But, yeah, you need more than just – even if he were hot and Cal were hot, you still need more.
Yeah.
So Randy's got to step it up.
Just every once in a while, you watch an at-bat by Julio, and he looks lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, that that's kind of frustrating. And again, you know, every year that goes by, he becomes – you know, his salary becomes, you know, lower and lower. It's like, okay, it's not like they just signed him to a new deal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, you look at what the season that Cal's having. That's exactly what you want after somebody signs a big-time contract.
All right, coming up, we learned that one word can fix everything that is wrong with the Mariners. Find out what that is. Coming up next, it's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
It's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
you're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife, and June is Men's Health Month, and Swedish Cyberknife wants to make a positive difference in the life of someone listening right now. After skin cancers, prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among American men. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during their lifetime. And right now, it is estimated that more than 3 million U.S. men are living with prostate cancer. And as men increase in age, their risk of developing prostate cancer increases. About 6 in 10 cases are found in men over the age of 65. And men with relatives, father, brother, or son with a history of prostate cancer may be twice as likely to develop the disease. Prostate cancer can be silent, and it's important to get checked out even if you don't have any symptoms. So if you or someone you know is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment at Swedish Cyberknife right here in Seattle. It's one of the shortest, requiring only 5 treatment sessions, each session lasting less than an hour, and Swedish Cyberknife physicians publish a 97% effective rate. So to find out more, go to swedish.org/cyberknife-prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
I can't believe they're moving the team to another city.
True, but you'll never forget all the joy they brought into your life.
Joy? They made the playoffs twice in 50 years.
Gosh, those 2 times were pretty great, weren't they?
How would I know? I wasn't even born yet.
Just think of all the free time you'll have on game days.
Those games were the highlight of my week.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome?
You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Experience the thrill of a lifetime this summer with a share of $320,000 in prizes. We're making waves every Saturday in June from 3 to 10 p.m. with double winners every hour. Come one, come all to the Coastal Carnival of Cash. Claim one free daily entry. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
This is a house of learned doctors. What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What did we learn today?
No one's a bigger idiot than me.
It is the easiest way out.
We were just sitting here looking up heights and weights of all these extremely tall people in the NBA. How much do you think Zach Edey weighs, Lefko?
265.
He's listed at 305.
Oh, big guy.
7'4", 305. We're looking at Chet Holmgren from the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's listed at 7'1", 208.
I can't imagine that, man. It looks like he's going to break.
Yeah, Wemby is at 235. He's what he's listed at.
Zach Edey, I'll bet you his head weighs 50 pounds.
Probably. It's a big melon.
Big melon.
What did we learn today?
I guess the weights. No, we also learned that it's not a matter of issues right now with the Mariners. It's just a matter of perception. So we learned kind of how to fix the concerns around the Mariners right now.
Yeah, you can't use the word patience with this fan base on any level.
I'm going to do it just to piss people off.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. That's not going to play well.
Texters, 866-979-3776. Be patient.
Wow. We do need some mean tax, I think, for tomorrow, so good job.
Be patient with what? With the Mariners?
Yeah.
Just let it play out?
No, just in general in your life, but also, just be patient with the Seattle Mariners.
Oh,
they'll get there.
Yeah, one day. Hopefully we're all alive.
That pissed people off.
Yeah, there you got a couple people that weren't happy with your request for patience.
Hey, let's do it again tomorrow.
That'll get them going.
Yeah.
That's like a curse word.
Yeah, people
with his
got
fan
like
base.
really personal.
Yeah, you can't. Jerry did it. See, everybody got mad at his 54% comment.
Yeah.
That one I kind of understood where he was going when he used the word patience. Yeah. No, when he was saying we're actually doing a favor by asking this fan base to be patient. I was like, oh, no.
You know who's responsible for that?
Us?
You. Just like the Houston Astro hate.
Kinda, yeah.
I think you should be proud of that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll just leave that one there. But what else? Yeah, don't use that word anymore with the Mariner fan base. What else did we learn?
All right, on a more joyful note, we learned about the pure elation that comes with the Baltimore accent.
What if they traded for Antonio Bastardo? What if they could get a guy to come out of retirement? What if they could get Hippolito Pichardo? You could have Pichardo, Bastardo, Gallardo, and Mazzoni. Can it happen?
It would be great. And then who could throw out the first ball? The Ravens quarterback. What's his name?
Joe Flacco?
Wow, Tim.
Flacco.
Oh, Tim's just howling with laughter on those. My goodness.
I'm fascinated by that accent, though, because where in the hell does that come from? And then I've only heard people make fun of it.
That is, him doing the accent was like, yeah, I guess it's kind of funny, but Tim laughing is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he's in hysterics.
Well, he wasn't yesterday or 2 days ago when I said Jorge Polanco. He didn't think that was that funny. It's only when SVP does it.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
That and I'm not very good. Bob, you could probably learn that and do it better than I do.
What do you say? You took a good run at it, though.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, I think your Tim Kirkjian might be up there with Kyle Brown.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to give it. It needs more work, much like Logan throwing left-handed to the dog. Could use a little work. What else did we learn?
Well, we learned the great story about what happened the first time Brady and Matt met.
Just a young John Schneider running around going, hey, what can I do around here?
Well, I just asked Brady because I thought it was about the same age. You just described, Bob, what Brady was like when he first started under Matt's tutelage. And he was bothering Matt Nelson. Hey, what's that button do? And Matt's,
but that was for
what's
pleasure.
happening here?
Oh, and I was paid to do it.
How hard was that with Matt, like, who just doesn't want to talk to anybody, pretty much, and you're trying to get information out of him, and he's probably like, shut up.
Well, let me preface it like this. He was training me for Mariners, so it was my arena, and I'm just talking about the pitch selection from the pitcher during the game.
What a nightmare
and
for
saying,
Matt.
I don't know why you did this in this situation, and then Matt's just looking at me, wondering if he can get away with killing me and not having like an HR problem. But it's so much fun to do.
Now you do it on purpose. I think in the beginning you were just a bright-eyed kid that was like, hey.
Oh, it's 100% for pleasure now. Yes.
I could talk sports.
Taking great pleasure.
Especially when, like, our dear friend left go when he's out or something, and Matt's then here producing, and I'm on the board. I have 4 hours where he cannot escape me, and I get to do whatever I want. Sometimes it's on the air, sometimes it's just over here in the back room, but it's always a fun time.
He can't escape me.
So you like our dear friend Lefko going on vacation?
I mean,
or
it provides
a wedding?
joy for me because I know, like, I don't want to annoy Lefko. I want to annoy Matt.
And you don't even really have to try. You just have to be there.
Even when I'm not here, I know Matt's already annoyed by me.
What else did we learn, Lefko?
I love that, yeah. I love the thought of Matt just knowing you're here, ready to annoy you. We also learned, Bob, I was stunned to learn this, that you hate Logan Gilbert.
Well, I think Bob, he's like, well, I'm going to be friendly with Logan and say all this, but you bet against him.
Yeah. And it turns out I was right.
You don't go against Logan.
Oh, he gave us 5.
I should have told him that.
He gave us 5.
When we interviewed him yesterday, I said, Bob here
said you'd only go 5, and he'd go,
no quality.
Bob said you had no quality whatsoever. Love Logan. Just didn't think he'd go 6.
Yeah, you were close.
I think I kind of nailed it. 5.
Yeah.
Called it.
I should have told him yesterday during the interview. Yeah. He thought, this guy over here thought you were going to go 3. Not even close to a quality
He wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah.
He's very skeptical of people, as we've seen from that video, the lie detector tests. He doesn't take anything at face value.
He's so nice, and he, seems to love to come on with us and everything. But, man, when you look at him on game day, that's a scary individual, man.
He's focused, man. He's a focused, intense guy. Did we learn anything else?
That is it.
That's all the learning. Today. All right, that does it for us. I want to thank our guests today, Russell Dorsey, Logan Gilbert, and you had the Raleigh Show as well. If you guys missed any part of that, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture, click on that, and it's always there waiting for you after the show. And don't forget, you can click subscribe. It's totally free, and it just shows up for you every day. You never have to worry about going through all these steps again. We're going to join you after the Mariner game tomorrow. Remember, it's 11:20 first pitch in Chicago, so we will be on after the game. We're going to turn you over to Game 6 of the NBA Finals, joining in progress. That's coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's something completely overblown at OTAs?
Interceptions. So when an interception is thrown, all people see is the end result. I don't think they realize that could have been a free play. He's tossing it up, or he's told just to throw the football so the defense gets a look. Kobe Bryant was over the top. Boom, he gets an interception. It can be deceiving at times.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Smoked paprika in your go-to goulash? Let's go goulash. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion and provide better access to SeaTac. Open soon, free through summer.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Bump here letting you know West Hills Ford is the big Ford store. Right now, during the From America for America event, Ford is offering employee pricing to all U.S. shoppers on many new Ford models. Buy a 2024 Ford Bronco Badlands with a low 3.9% APR for 72 months on approved credit. Offer ends July 2nd. West Hills Ford, the big Ford store, just off the Auto Center Way exit. Highway 3, Bremerton, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it!
Whoa. More fiber?
What?
Down here, buddy. It's me, your spoon. Constipation with belly pain still coming back?
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, but Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.